Greetings, everyone. So nice to have you all here. So I'm going to do a quick intro, and then I'm going to bring up my co-founder for Mindvalley, Coach Ajit, who will be starting the class for today. Firstly, it is a beautiful, cold Sunday here in Estonia, and I'm excited to see so many people here from all around the world. So some of you who are watching this might be wondering, why do I look different? Well, I recently had my beard dyed just as an experiment. What do you guys think? So what happened was I was in Dubai and I noticed that every guy in Dubai had the most amazing black beards. And so I was speaking at an event and I turned to the speaker next to me and I'm like, do you men in Dubai never age? How is it that Middle Eastern men, their beards are always completely black, not a spot of gray hair? And he looked at me, rolled his eyes, and goes, Habibi, all of us are using the black dye every 2 weeks. You go dye your beard. So I thought, okay, fine. So I went to Dubai, dyed my beard. How does it look, guys? It lasts about 1 week, then the grays grow back. Um, but hopefully it makes me look younger, but probably less wise. Now, I'm so glad to have all of you guys over here. We're going to be going through an exploration of personal growth, of transformation. And this is a really beautiful event that we do to kick off the year. Now, I want to introduce you to your main speaker today. As Mindvalley has grown, I am so honored to no longer be one of the top speakers in Mindvalley. There are many remarkable men and women who teach on our platform. So today you're going to be learning from the co-founder of Mindvalley Coach. Mindvalley Coach is the new name for our division, formerly known as EverCoach. And what we do in Mindvalley Coach is we actually certify people to become world-class coaches, whether as life coaches, hypnotherapists, fitness coaches. Now, the co-founder of Mindvalley Coach is actually one of the top coach trainers in the world. And this is Ajit Nawalkha. Ajit and I have been working together since 2008, and Ajit is a brilliant, brilliant soul, a wise teacher who in the last 2 years alone has trained, get this, 12,000 new coaches. That's almost 500 coaches, new coaches a month. Ajit is training in the art of coaching and transforming lives. So why is that important, right? One of the things we noticed in Mindvalley, and our company just celebrated its 20th birthday, but we noticed in Mindvalley that as people go through a life transformation, you cannot go through deep transformation yourself and want to keep it just to yourself. You want to share the wisdom, share the ideas, share the best practices with friends, with family, with coworkers. But I would often find this. If I go straight to a family member and say, hey, you got to try this, or if I go to my employees and say, you got to meditate, you actually irritate the heck out of people. They deem you as sometimes as being pushy, sometimes as being a know-it-all. I remember trying to teach meditation to my employees. Most of them liked it, but 10% absolutely hated it. And they actually complained about it because I was doing it the wrong way. My intention was good. I wanted to spread these beautiful practices that had transformed me, but I wasn't trained as a coach. I didn't know how to listen, how to understand the needs of another person, how to empathize, because there's no such thing as one size fits all, right? When it comes to transformation, it's a unique process that has to be adapted to each individual. This is where Ajit comes in. So the reason we created Mindvalley Coach is because so many people, millions of people who go through transformations on our Mindvalley platform, whether it's through our Mindvalley Talks YouTube channel with millions of subscribers, or the Mindvalley membership on our app, or attending a Mindvalley event, they want to go further. They want to bring these wisdom to their loved ones, their family, their employees, their co-workers. And many of them asked us to train them as coaches. And this is how Mindvalley Coach started. So who you're going to learn from today is our master coach, Ajit. Ajit has developed Mindvalley coaching certifications as for life coaching, for hypnotherapy with Paul McKenna, for fitness with with Ronan Diego and Lorenzo Delano, for business coaching, and many, many, many more. And today, Ajit is going to be taking you through a transformative journey to coach yourself. And for those of you who might want to become a Mindvalley qualified coach, at the end of this 4-hour training session that we'll be doing. And it's 4 hours because we really want to spend time with you. We really want to go deep. We really want to add value. But at the end of 4 hours, we'll talk a little bit about that for those of you who want to later be coached by Ajit, okay? Mindvalley coaching certifications is a transformative thing. And maybe you'll be one of the 12,000 people who have gone through our coaching certifications. So that said, I want you to put in the chat your main intention for being here. What is it that you're looking to learn? And Ajit is actually with us. He's in the back room. He is reading the comments. Okay, so someone said, up-level my skills, overcome fear of expansion, improve my leadership, let go of fear, develop clarity, prosper, expand my practice, personal transformation, let go of fear. Interestingly enough, there's a lot of messages here that say, let go of fear, transform my life, create greater discipline, formulate a life plan, go through a healing experience, share better and more with the world. Now, what's beautiful about what you're about to learn is that it's not for one specific outcome. Mindvalley actually measures close to 300 different human development outcomes, from increased bone density to overcome imposter syndrome to develop intuition. All of these really micro outcomes. But what you're going to learn here is our transformative tools that actually elevate all outcomes because they put you on a cycle of personal growth. So let me give you an idea of what we're going to be covering. In about a few minutes, roughly 6 minutes, I'll be bringing up Ajit. And Ajit's going to talk about how your standards will define your life. What tends to happen with many of us is that we settle. We develop lower standards for who we can really be. While concepts like gratitude are truly important, this idea reminds me of something I was recently reading in the Conversations with God book series by Neale Donald Walsch. Neale says in his intuitive dialogue called Conversations with God, you are not here to unravel the secrets of the universe. You will accomplish that when you die. You are here because you chose to be human. In this larger reality, you chose to be incarnated as a human being. And the answer is obvious. You are here to desire. You are here to expand. You're here to understand who you really are, and that which you choose, you are choosing because that part of you that is God is choosing it for himself. In short, you are here for God to literally experience itself. So dream, desire. And Neale goes on to say something fairly controversial. He says, seek sex, seek fame, seek money, seek power, seek glory, seek it all. But as you do that, understand that you are part of a larger whole, and that which you seek for yourself, seek to share and uplift others. I find that to be a really beautiful message. And so what we're going to do is show you how to set the standards so you can truly be a seeker, and a seeker who uplevels others. If that resonates with you, put a yes in the chat. So we'll spend 45 minutes on that talk. And then Ajit is going to give you 4 keys to changing your life. So we're going to go deeper into this topic, the 4 keys of changing your life. Then we will talk about reframes. This is a really quick one. How to reframe conversations you're having with yourself so you put yourself in a cycle of growth. I will come on in about 2 hours from now to teach you the 6-phase meditation protocol, which is a daily practice you can put into your life to put yourself in an upward spiral of growth. And if you've learned the 6th phase before, this is going to be new stuff. Every year when I teach the 6th phase, I add more nuances, more layers. So I promise you what you're going to learn is going to be a deeper understanding of the principles of the 6th phase. And then as we close this event, we will talk about, for those of you who want to understand how to become a Mindvalley certified coach, we will talk about what you can do to get there. When our next coaching class starts, where me and Ajit personally train people and certify people to become a world-class transformer of human beings. You literally gain the ability to uplift other human beings. So with that, I'd like to bring up my friend, co-founder, and the brilliant architect of Mindvalley Coach, Ajit Nawalkha. Ajit, are you there? See, I told Ajit 15 minutes. So you
I was here all this while. I was here all this while. Hello, hello, hello. Thank you so much for that wonderful introduction. Hello, everyone. So good to see everyone. So good to read all these amazing intentions that you're walking in today with. All these intentions that you have right now for your life or where you are in your life are important to note. You see, when we set an intention for a 3 hour, 4 hour seminar like this or intention in life, what it does is it puts our attention towards that intention. And when you put attention to your intention seems to get realized much faster. Your intention seems to materialize much faster in the real world. See, first time when I was introduced to the idea of attention and intentions was in the context of law of attraction. You might have heard about this thing called law of attraction, right? If you agree with me, just say yes, right? Or if you've heard about the term, just say yes. One of the keys to really being present in seminars like this, where we have almost 4,000 people attending live, is to stay in communication with each other. And so commenting helps with that. So many years ago, this is about 15 years ago, I was first introduced the idea of law of attraction by this person. And the person says, yeah, do you believe in law of attraction? I said, no, I'm a scientific guy. I'm a psychological guy. I don't believe in law of attraction. And he said, okay, would you do an experiment with me? I was like, sure, why not? He said, well, I used to live in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia at the time. I had just joined Mindvalley. And he said, have you seen a butterfly lately in Kuala Lumpur? Now, Kuala Lumpur is a busy city. For the people who live in big cities and busy cities, you would know. It's often usual that you miss natural things. Like, so he was like, have you seen a butterfly recently here, Ajit? And I was like, no, I haven't seen a butterfly. And he said, so let's do this experiment. For the next 24 hours, think of a butterfly that you will see. And think of a butterfly that you would not expect to see in Kuala Lumpur. Think of a butterfly, like, well, a purple butterfly. So like, all right, so next 24 hours, I want you to pay attention to seeing if you see a purple butterfly. And so I go around and lo and behold, next morning, I see a purple butterfly. And that reminded me and anchored in me that if you pay attention to your intention will get realized soon, faster. All I was doing at that point is I set an intention, I want to see a purple butterfly. And because I had that intention, I started paying attention. And because I started paying attention, I realized what I really wanted to have in my life. So that's what I want you to do for the next 3-4 hours with us. I want you to pay attention to your intention. Don't just say it because that's the first thing that came to your mind. Keep attention towards it, because what you will do over the next several hours is find the things in the seminar that are relevant to you. Like Vishen said, coaching, self-coaching, coaching somebody else is applicable to any area of your life. Whatever you want to create, manifest, have as an outcome for you, you want to overcome a fear, you can have that by coaching yourself. I'll give you the tools for it as well. But it is your intention and your attention to your intention that will make that outcome really get realized in the physical world. Are we down for that? Say yes in the chat so we know we are all in and we are going to play hard on this. Yes, thank you very much. Another way to really lock in transformations in your life is to resonate or create resonance with a word or a statement that really reminds you that I want to anchor this in my life, right? A few years ago, I chose a word that helps me, or chose the 3 set of words that helps me remind me when I am doubting myself, when I'm questioning myself, when I'm wondering, is it working or not working? Am I really progressing? You know, those moments where you're trying to progress, but it feels like you're failing all the time. Just me or anybody like that? I see some of you feel that, right? You're like, I'm making progress, but I'm not. I'm making progress, but I'm not. In those moments, I like to remind myself that all through my life and even now, I am an ever-evolving work of art. I'm an ever-evolving work of art. I am not something that is complete. I'm not a painting that is ended. I'm a discovery. I'm an art that is ever-evolving. I'm learning, I'm growing, I'm progressing, and so are you. And because we are a work of art, every time during the course of the seminar, you feel like, oh, that's a thing I want to capture in my art. This is a learning I want to capture in my art. I want you to type in either a yes, which is very cool, or I want you to type in WOA, which is basically work of art. It is just an acknowledgement to say, I am a work of art. this is an addition to the work of art that I am. Or choose your own word. That's okay too. Anything that recognizes you, because that's the most important thing here, is that you recognize that you have just transformed a little bit of your mindset, your skill set, your physical set. At any point of the seminar, you feel like, hey, my friend, my colleague, my partner, my fiance, my lover, whoever should attend this seminar. Go ahead and send the link of the seminar to them so they can attend this, right? This is live only. So this is an experience that we get to have together. And when friends get to have this experience together, well, everybody's life transforms, right? And you'll see the impact of that as we talk more about the seminar. See, what tends to happen that our life today, you are a function of events that happened in your life, right? You were complete, whole, kind of a blank canvas when you started your life. And then something happened. And that something created a meaning of that event, of that circumstance in your life. You started to make believe about who you are and what you can and what you cannot be. And that meaning started to form your identity. You started to go, I am not pretty. Let's say if somebody told you that you're not pretty, you owned that. And now you said, oh, I'm not a beautiful person. And then you kept looking for events in your life around you all the time and say, see, reminder, I'm not this, I'm not this, I'm not this, I'm not this. And then it became a part of you. If somebody told you, hey, you're beautiful, you're pretty, it's the same thing. You captured it. And now you started to associate everything on how you look. You reminded yourself, you instilled that belief more and more. Somebody told you you're smart, and you started to believe you're smart. And then you operated in life, you were smart. Somebody told you you're not that smart. And you started to believe and created that identity for yourself. And that identity today feels like, oh, that's just me. That's just me. And that's how standards in our life are set. We become a standard identity. And this standard, unfortunately, gets designed to keep us safe, which means that instead of chasing the highest standard as human beings, just our default is to chase the lowest standard. Because guess what is the safest standard that we could have in our lives? The lowest standard. Right? So whatever is the standard that you have in life right now is the lowest potential you could ever hit. It's not your highest potential. It's not your total potential. It's not even your favorite potential. It's not even the desire that you always wanted to have in your life. It's the minimum you could do because your mind, heart, soul wants to save itself. It's like, I don't want to get hurt. I don't want to be threatened. I don't want to fail. I don't want to look weak. I don't want to be weak. And because of that, we keep settling. We keep lowering our standard. We keep settling for a standard that just was safe. See, a lot of times the standard so funnily gets set up so early in life that we forget that that's when we set the standard. We are not even the same person anymore. Right? Ever imagined that some of your standards that you may be living with right now were defined when you were a teenager? You were a teenager and you set and agreed to a standard that life set for you. When you realize that, I was doing this seminar a couple of months ago, and this beautiful woman, her name's Ayla, which also happens to be my daughter's name. Her name was Ayla, and we were doing an exercise around standards, and we were talking about what was happening for her. This woman was 70 years old, and she had set a standard for herself when she was 14. And she recognized she had that standard for 46 years. How would it be if there are standards in your life that you've held on to for 20, 30, 40, 50 years, and you're still holding on to them because of some obscure event that happened, one-off event that happened in life, and someone meaningful in your life gave you that standard, and you just kept re-emphasizing it, re-saying it, re-believing it, and so you start accepting it as your standard. Well, we're going to change that today. Okay. We're going to reset our standards. We're going to set our standards back at a place where it's powerful, it's affirmative, and it's more in context with what we want in our life. Now, before I get to that, though, I do want to remind you is that we have a workbook along with this next 2 hours at least. And the reason why I like giving workbooks is so when you are watching the seminar, when I'm giving you an exercise, you don't feel like, hold on, what am I supposed to do? Because sometimes a visual cue, a visual representation right in front of you is helpful. Now, if you didn't get access to it or you didn't see it coming in your inbox, it is uploaded to the resource section here, or my team will tell you how to get it. But if you have it, fantastic, because we will be utilizing it, all right? So sometimes I'll go, hey, here's an exercise, and I'll give you the exercise. I'll explain it. I'll remind enough time. So yes, you'll be able to follow along, but it would help if you have the workbook. What I've also found is a lot of the people that come to our seminars and our events tend to keep these workbooks for life. And the reason is because the exercises are applicable years from now as well. So, and you can still do them, especially once you've had this live experience with me, because you know what really matters and where is it that container in the context is, right? So go ahead and find the workbook link if you don't have it yet. It will help along. Again, I'll do my best to explain it, present it, but it would help to have a visual cue. So do consider looking at it, right? Now, what I want you to think about as how our standards are set is our standards are not only set as one standard across our life, right? You will find, and notice this about yourself, okay? Some of you would go, I'm wildly successful in my career, but it seems like relationships elude me, right? And if you feel it, say yes, right? Some of you might go, well, it feels like I've really got the person I really love. They really love me. Relationships are amazing. But for whatever reason, I can't seem to get to a healthy body. Some of you may feel everything's great in life, but I feel so disconnected to a purpose or the highest self or the greatest self or universe or whatever it is. See, standards are set based on different categories of our life, right? And there are many categories, and all of us evaluate our lives in different ways. But we do have different areas of our life. We're not just one thing. We're not one person. We are not one way of operating everywhere in life. We operate differently in different areas of our life, but we almost think about our standards as one thing, right? But our standards actually vary by different areas of our life. So first thing that I want us to know, because like we said, if we pay attention to something, it's going to get realized faster, right? So what I want us to pay attention to is notice where we are in different areas of our life and how we rate our standards there, right? It's very intuitive. I'm not asking you to scientifically prove the number that you're going to put next, but I do want you to intuitively kind of lean in and go, okay, how do I feel about my standards when it comes to my personal growth, right? On a scale of 10. How do I rate my standard or my standard of life for myself, not for anybody else, right? We are personally driven people, right? So we're going to focus on us for now, not society, right? We're not going to focus on how people see us. We're going to focus on how we see us, right? So personal growth on a scale of 1 to 10, how do I think I rate myself on myself, right? My own standards. Do I feel I am raising standard and living my best self, my favorite self, my ultimate self? My standards are high. Right. So firstly, I'm seeing all the ratings coming. I'm seeing 3, 5s, 8s, 7s. Some are like, no, I don't want to rate myself. There's 4.5s and 6 and 7s. Some are 10. That's awesome. You've got personal growth. Now let's get into health. On a scale of 1 to 10, how do you rate yourself? How do you think, are you settling? If you're settling, say of 1, if you're saying, no, I do not settle, then go for a 10. Let's see, a lot of 6, 7s, 4, 5, 1, 2, 7.5, 6, 10. Some of you are doing great on health. Amazing. I love that. I love that. High standards. Yes. Money. How are we doing on money? Go ahead. You're doing this for yourself. And it'll be great if you keep a note of this, because you will see how your standards will increase after the next exercise if you're rating yourself low. Okay? Then love. How do you rate yourself? On a scale of 1 to 10, are you settling? Or are you, no, I have got the partner. I am loving and our relationship is thriving. Lots of 1s. Friendships, community, people that you hang out with, not just people that you party with. right? Friendships are beyond party, if you know what I mean, right? And if you got some good ones, right? So how do you rate them? Friendships, 1 to 10. Settling, have the greatest friends, your cheerleaders, right? People who will help you when you're struggling. Career, do you do meaningful work? Do you feel like you're doing meaningful work? Things that fire you up, makes you feel passionate about what you're doing? Purposeful, maybe even? How do you rate your careers? Lots of 2s, lots of 3s, lots of 8s. That's awesome. Between 4 and 8, one person said. I don't know how that rating works. Right? Parenting. How do you see yourself as a parent? Right? Lots of 10s. Good parenting, you guys. Friendship and community. I think I repeated that one. Well-being. How do you rate yourself on well-being? Just overall mental health well-being. I understand health we already covered, but mental well-being. You're taking care of yourself. Your soul well-being. Lifestyle. Do you get to have the time abundance that you might want in your life? Do you get to live the lifestyle that you want? Do you get to do all the wellness things that you want? Do you have the availability and abundance that you want? Like, how is your lifestyle like? Lifestyle seems to be a big struggle in this community right now. That's okay. We're going to fix it. Connection to spirit. And spirit could be anything, right? If you're religious, non-religious, it doesn't matter. Spirit is just highest, whatever, greater power, universe, one universal mind, whatever you want to call it, things that we don't understand, but we know they exist. How is our connection to spirit? 4s, 6s, 8s. Awesome. Knowing which are the different areas and how we rate ourselves help us focus our intention, focus our attention to those areas, because we can go, oh, okay, that's the area probably I am struggling with most, or this is the area that I want to work on today the most. There's the area that I may want to consider how to change my behavior around the most. This is the area that I want to consider to work on the next set of questions the most. What I've found through my experience training thousands and thousands of individuals, there's 2 ways that one can challenge their standards. And challenging the standards is the first step to really going into raising them, right? Do we all agree, though, that we want to raise our standards? Can I get a yes for that? So I know that we agree that we need to have a higher standard for ourselves, not for the freaking society, for ourselves. Yes? Oh, that's the community we like. That's the community that is the Mindvalley community. Yes, we'll raise our standards. And so I want to give you 2 paths to it, right? And both the paths work. It's more about what fits in our life for now, right? The first path is something that is powered by self. See, a few years ago, if you would meet me maybe 3 years ago or 4 years ago, I would very explicitly tell you that I'm an introvert, that I am somebody who does not like meeting people. I cannot handle parties. I wouldn't attend parties. I'm just not that guy. I'm an introvert. And I had a really good label for it, right? Introvert, very popular, apparently scientific, right? And as I started to look at other areas of my life, because I was doing this work, I wanted to be more charismatic. One of the exercises I ended up, and actually it's a Mindvalley quest by Vanessa Van Edwards, I think it's called Art of Charm or something like that. But I was doing that quest, and in that quest, there's a time, I think it's in the first or second module, where she asks you to do this exercise, where she says, hey, find out the people that you feel charming around and find the people that you don't feel charming around, right? This is just an exercise to increase or figure out how to be more charismatic, right? And that brought my attention that people I didn't find myself charming around were people also that I just didn't feel energetically aligned to, or it felt like it was draining to be around them. And that set me off on a path. That set me off on a path that says, hold on, if these are the people that I don't like hanging out with, and these are the people that take away energy from me, does that actually mean something more than just charismatic and non-charismatic, right? Or you feel charismatic or non-charismatic around. And as I did this exploration, I realized I had a direct correlation to people and introversion, right? And people who identify as introverts, please be ready to change your, or at least question your mindset, okay? So I found that and I'm going to ask you to do an exercise that will help you discover this as well. But as I found, I started to ask myself, why is it that I label myself as an introvert? Why is it that I think I'm an introvert? Like, why is it so dear to me? Or why is it that I feel people, because it's not that I don't like people. Like, I love people. I mean, clearly I'm in the profession of people. I love people enough that I'm in the profession of people. And then I go and do I love my clients? Like, I love hanging out with my clients. Do I like my friends? I'm like, we are one of the biggest hosts here in the city that we live in, because there's always a party happening at our house. So I'm like, it's not that I don't like people. So I was like, what is it that tells me I'm an introvert? And I traced it back to something that happened in my life many, many years ago that set my standard to believe that I'm an introvert. See, and this is a little secret between all 4,000 of us. When I was a kid, like at 8, 9 years of age, I used to love dancing. I still do, but I used to absolutely love dancing. I would like break into a dance anytime any music was playing, especially it was one of those Hindi movie crazy songs. I was like the guy who would just get on the dance floor and I would just rock it out. I love dancing. And because I love dancing so much, if you're from India, you'll probably understand this. And if you're from anywhere else in the world, it's just the culture there is if you have a party like an anniversary or a wedding of someone, there's a lot of dance performances. People dance like just to celebrate the person and celebrate the event. And there's literally a stage where you're dancing. It's not like everybody's on the dance floor. It's a stage and somebody's dancing and everybody's watching them perform, right? So one of the thing happened was one of my uncles was so impressed with my dancing. He was like, hey, it's my 25th wedding anniversary. Would you dance? And we want you to be the final act because you're so young and you're so great. And so I went ahead and I performed, right? And it went really well. And then suddenly I was this kid that was performing at everybody's wedding. And as a kid, I was loving it. I mean, all the attention I was getting, I was like, that's awesome. Why not? So I kept doing this, and it became a thing that when it would be wedding season, I would be going to people's weddings that I didn't even know. It was like, I don't know who this person is. I don't know who I'm performing at. And literally, it would be one of those things, oh, wedding season's coming. I just prepare 5 dances because you're going to be performing it at these many weddings, right? It was not a paid gig, by the way. This is just me dancing on other people's weddings. And people would wait for my performance. And what happened was that, and I'm sure you would relate to it. And I turned a teenager. And as a teenager, I hated going to people's weddings and presenting and dancing because it's like, oh, why do I have to do this? It's so embarrassing, right? Anybody who has been a teenager and thought it's so embarrassing to do things in front of adults, or I was just one of those weird guys. A lot of us, right? Yeah, exactly. Right. So as I'm dancing and I'm hating this, I start to just tell myself, hey, I don't like people. I don't like going to parties. Hey, I don't appreciate this attention. I am, and then I found the term introvert. Oh, I'm an introvert. Right. And once I found that term, of course, I started to own that term. And because of that term, I created this barrier between me and people so I couldn't be hurt. So from 13 or maybe 13, 14, since I started labeling it to 36, so what, for the next 20 years or so, I started and kept labeling myself as an introvert instead of thinking I'm just a human being. And yes, there are situations where I don't like people. Yes, even today. But that's true for anyone. You could be an introvert or an extrovert or whatever else word you want to be. It doesn't, your label, the box that the world tried to give you is not the box that you actually fit in, because you are so unique and so different that no box could define you. And here's the truth. Even to the introverts, and you might go, Ajit, I never wanted to be a dancer. I never got that attention. There were events in your life that gave you the label introvert. And worse still, and I'm saying this is worse still, if a quiz or a test gave you that label, and you all know what I'm talking about. Because all those quizzes and tests that tell you introvert, extrovert, box here, box there, let me give you a box so you can fit into my standard, is just a way to trick your brain and get us be limited in our potential. A lot of that science actually have been debunked. Even psychologists would agree with me. And if there are psychologists and therapists, you can say, yep, I completely agree. All those tests are not scientifically proven. They are great tests because we like taking tests, and for whatever reason, we love boxes. It's not true. You're not an introvert. You're not an extrovert either. You are you. Yeah, you. Just you. And sometimes you like the people you're hanging out with and you become all chatty and friendly. And sometimes you don't like the people you're hanging out with and you leave the party. It doesn't box you into anything. But the discovery of your standard, discovery of who you truly are, cannot be done by the labels that the world gives us. The discovery of your highest standard, your standard that you want to live your life with, cannot be done by the labels that the world gives us. So I want you to take off all those labels right now. I took off the introvert label and suddenly I was not an introvert. I said, no, I don't choose that box that you chose to give me. I'm going to make my own box. And I started calling that box my favorite self. Not my best self, not my highest self, my favorite self. The reason why I like my favorite self is because my favorite self means I want to hang out with me. Because guess what? That's the most important part, isn't it? Don't we want to have the best time with our lives? That's the reason we chose life. To hang out with the life the way we want to experiment, we want to create, right? So what if, instead of you trying to go, I need to be my highest self, which may make you not accept your shadows or may make you feel like, is this good or is this bad? No, I don't know if it's good or bad. I am me. I want to be me. I want to hang out with me. I am my favorite self. So what I want to invite you to is ask yourself this question. What's your favorite self? Right? Your favorite self will tell you, hey, you like hats. Your favorite self will tell you, you want this body. Your favorite self will tell you, this is the standard of relationships I want. Your favorite self will tell you, my contribution needs to look like this. Your favorite self will tell you what my career path looks like and how much money I actually want. Not what the world tells me I should get, but what is it that I want? And you know what? I'm going to tell you something, and you're going to agree with me by the end of it if you don't agree right now, is that you can have it all. Yes, you can have it all. There is no limitation to what the universe has to provide for all of us. Absolutely nothing. There's no evidence I've found in the last 20 years of my research, 10 years of my work in the world, no evidence that a standard or a limitation has been put on anyone to say only this much can be given to humanity or only this much can be given to this human. Absolutely no evidence that I can find qualitatively, at least, right? I've seen people break standards, make standards, create new standards, change childhood behaviors, change traumatic behaviors overnight in a moment like this because they decided. And that is all that it took sometimes. All right, so we're going to do that. But first, let's find our favorite self. Okay, this is where the workbook comes in handy. I'm going to read the questions for you. I'm going to explain the question. And then we're going to take about 5 minutes to answer, at least with cliff notes, these questions. Again, you don't have to perfect these answers. That's the reason why I give you a workbook, so you have a copy of it, right? So if you need more time, take more time in your own time. Okay, the first question that I want you to answer for yourself is, when do you find yourself an absolute delight to hang out with? And there's a point that you will find in your life or in the situation right now where, like, you know what? I like to hang out with me when I am like, right? And again, do not set this based on my friends like to hang out with me. My wife likes to hang, my husband likes to, my partner likes, my kids. No. None of that matters right now. When do you like to hang out with you? What's the version of you? What's the characteristics of that person, right? And I'm seeing some of you responding, which is awesome. When I'm dancing, awesome, I love that. I love myself when I'm dancing too. You can clearly see the amount of movement I have, right? When I'm peaceful and happy, when I'm learning and growing, when I'm singing, amazing. Write those things down. When is it that you love hanging out with yourself? I'm going to give you another 5 seconds for this answer, right? When I'm at Mindvalley events, that's so true. Which is actually which actually brings me to the second question, which is what triggers that state in you? What are the events? What are the things that are happening around you that you suddenly go and be that favorite self? What's triggering that state? Coming to a Mindvalley event, hell yeah, I can see that happen, absolutely. But what else? Because it's not a Mindvalley event every day, right? So what else? What are the other things that trigger this state in you where you go, wow, I really love myself right now. This is my favorite version of me. Okay, I'm gonna read some of them. Good weather. Again, think of things that are not so influenced by the external factors, right? Good weather is a good point, sure, but there might be other things, things that you can actually control, things that you can influence, right? To ask those questions as well, meaningful, right? Now, if I ask that favorite person that you just meant, well, I'm singing, when I'm dancing, what is actually the characteristics of this person that are evident, right? When I'm dancing, I'm just smiling, that's one thing. Or when I'm singing, I'm just like vocal and I'm expressive and I'm singing with all the tones and notes, even if nobody's listening, right? Or when I'm going for a walk, when I'm in growth mode, and so I'm like present and I'm really, really there, and that's when it is. But I'm dressed this particular way, or when I am doing something that is for my health and my well-being. I'm doing something with my kids. What are the characteristics? What does that person look like? What does that person feel like? What are those characteristics in you? I want you to highlight those. What is it that you will see in you? So you'll be like, that guy, that girl, that person. That's my favorite. Right? I want you to pronounce those characteristics, not pronouns. Like I want you to highlight those characteristics. So go ahead and highlight those characteristics. Right? I'm loving the engagement, guys. Thank you for playing along. I also want you to note this on a piece of paper or somewhere where you can find this later, because this chat's going to go away. Right? So this is awesome. And I love the sharing because it inspires all of us. But I also want you to make a note for yourself. Okay? And here's the final trick. Sometimes when we are choosing to create or tap into our favorite self, we forget. We forget those characteristics. We forget our favorite self. And so what I found useful is if you give yourself a name, an alter ego, if I may, where you go, for me, for example, is AJ. I am my favorite self when I'm in this state. With you all, I'm engaged, I'm working, I'm impacting, I'm looking, I'm reading, I'm feedbacking, right? All of that stuff. And then what I did is I started calling myself AJ. This is the state I trigger, AJ, right? And it has become so popular that even my team sometimes calls me AJ now. They just don't even say Ajit. They say AJ, right? And that's because AJ is my identity that shows up for work. It has the characteristics of all these different things that I love. That's the favorite part of myself. One of my favorite versions, right? And then there is a character like, and we'll get personal maybe later, but that's for me and my wife. I assume that identity sometimes, and it's so fun because they're all parts of you, right? They're all different versions of you. And the more you lean into your favorite self, the more it becomes you. The more you really raise your standard in that category of your life, wherever this favorite self has to show up, right? And your favorite self, again, is not introvert, extrovert, or any label. It's just you. It's a part of you that you love. It's a part of you that you tap into. There's a part of you that brings out the best of you for that category. Okay, is that making sense? Say yes. Awesome, great. So when you're trying to raise your standard, when you're trying to live your highest standard or a higher standard than today, in a particular category, one of the easiest, fastest way to get around is to do this exercise and find your favorite self in that category, whatever that category is, it doesn't matter, right? And then trigger that every single time you use this alter name for yourself, right? Because it will remind you, it'll anchor it with you to go, oh, okay, I'm active. AJ, turn on, right? Ajit, turn on, right? Dada, which is what my kids call me, right? So turn on, very much my parenting identity. And it's my favorite way of being a parent. It's the favorite version of it, right? And you can trigger it, you can get into it very, very quickly. And what happens over time is like you created that identity that you're like, this is where I'm settling, where I'm not reaching my career potential, I'm not reaching my abundance potential, I'm not reaching my relationship potential. That is an identity. You just never named it. You assumed it because you repeated it so many times that you thought that's you. Because of an event that happened in your life, a situation that happened in your life, you kept repeating that activity that you became that low standard of your own self, right? Now that we have this new favorite version of you, that we have a name for it, what's going to happen is you'll start triggering it starting today, right? In that context that we just talked about. And as you keep triggering it again and again and again, when we meet 2 months from now, or you have a conversation with yourself 2 months from now, you will see that whatever this identity was that you was holding on to because of some arbitrary event when you were a kid or whatever it was, you were holding on to because you've changed it now. Now your identity will start to shift and your standards will start to rise. And your new standard would be higher than the standard that you did have before. Okay. And this new standard then will encourage you to do this exercise again because you'll find another version in you that is your favorite self. And this becomes an ever-evolving process for you. Right? So this tool is not only applicable for now, this tool is applicable for, well, a pretty good time. How's that for a start? Right? Starting to find what is my favorite self and chasing it like it is important. Understanding that whatever life standard I'm living right now is not the greatest standard I can live. Now, there's another way. The other way is a little bit more complicated. And sometimes universe gives you this like a blessing, right? So it's almost like a blessing will be bestowed on you. You may notice it, you may not notice it. You may notice it when I tell you the next part and the next story around it. And you may start noticing it going forward. I don't know. Sometimes it's easy to create. Sometimes it's very difficult to create. Okay. So like Vishen mentioned, I joined Mindvalley in 2008. And when I joined Mindvalley, I was actually an intern. I was joining as an intern. And as an intern, I was supposed to just be an assistant to someone. But I came in during a time where that person was not really performing at their job or whatever the case was. But basically about 15 days in, the person was let go of their job title. And I was given their job title, and which was of a business manager, right? Now, know that at that point, I am like a 25-year-old kid who really doesn't know anything about personal growth or online space per se, right? And Mindvalley wasn't like a big company where there was a big training structure that I could have leaned into or anything like that, right? There's literally maybe 10 employees or maybe 15 at that point. Right. So I'm going into Mindvalley 15 days in. It's like, it's also Christmas time. So most of the people are out of the office. 15 days there, I'm told, hey, you are going to be business manager of this particular unit. And so go ahead and run this unit. Right. And I'm like, all right, I don't even know what that means, but sure, I'll run the unit. And lo and behold, end of January, we are doing a business meeting where I'm presenting. Here are the numbers from last year, which I've kind of asked around how to even get out. And as I'm presenting the numbers, Vishen, who's sitting right there, and he goes, hey, Ajit, do you know that you're off by $100,000 in revenue in the last month? And I was like, no, I don't know, because I just joined. And he went ahead and said, well, Ajit, you're about $100,000 off, and you can't be that, right? So in the next month, I'm going to give you 30 days. You have to do, of course, your revenue for February, but we want you to cover the $100,000 that you lost last month. And I was like, okay. And now in my head, I'm going, 100 grand, it must be easy, you know, we'll figure it out. It'll probably just make that automatically. He's just, you know, just making me aware that we are short, and that's it, right? So I'm going about, I'm still learning the tools and practices and all of that on how to run a business. Again, I don't know anything. I'm an intern. I'm not even supposed to be doing the job that I'm doing, right? I'm supposed to come here to just learn. And I've just got this responsibility. And then I'm like, all right, learn. And hopefully, and I'm like 2 weeks out of that timeline of end of February. And I'm nowhere close to making an additional 100 grand. So I'm panicking now. And I'm kind of like scrambling. And coincidentally, it happens to be that there was a person that I was staying with. And this is how intern I was. I was not even given a room at that point. I was literally sleeping on a couch with other roommates in the actual room in the apartment that was rented by the company. I was that temporary, right? So he comes in, and the person I was sharing, whose couch I was really using, one day we were walking to the office and he asked me this question, hey, Ajit, how about that 100K that you have to cover? Are you good on that? And I was like, dude, I have no idea. We are so far behind. I have no idea how to cover this 100K. I like, what am I supposed to do? And so I think he just knew that I'm so lost and confused. So as we are walking, he takes out this set of DVDs and he says, hey, you go, Ajit, study this overnight and run a campaign and you will figure out how to make 100 grand, right? And I was like, okay, I have like 2 weeks. And so I'm going and I'm still doing my day job. So I'm like basically studying all this over nights and everything. And as I'm studying, I find this idea right in there. And then I go, all right, let's go do this idea and see if this works. And so as I'm getting into it and I'm doing this, I realized that we were able to run the campaign, right? And then lo and behold, that meeting comes up end of February and I'm presenting the numbers. And Vishen goes, Ajit, did you cover the 100K that I told you that you need to cover? And I said, Vishen, we didn't only cover the 100K, we made a bonus of like 20 grand more. So we didn't only make $100,000 in that weekend, but $120,000. The reason why I tell you this story is because until that time, nobody had ever done that in the Mindvalley history. It was not an obvious ask. It was not the standard of the company, but it was the environment, the notice from the universe that came through Vishen, of course, and that I'm sure has happened in all your lives, a lot of your lives, where Vishen has been that person that has pushed your standard. He was that sound, that noise, that voice that came to me to say, you will have to raise your standard, buddy. And so I raised the standard, not just for myself, but for people around me. But it was not me who inspired it. It was the universe. It was my surrounding. It was my social structure. I wouldn't even know. I wouldn't even think to make 100 grand more. I was coming from India. 100 grand was like bazillion dollars for me at that time. I was making $500 a month as my salary. 100,000 seemed like an impossible thing to achieve ever in my life, not only at that time, right? So the question or the interesting part here is that you need to consider if you can reset your environment to push your standards, because that's the second way of raising your standards. Because sometimes it's hard to push through just by yourself. I mean, you are a part of your surroundings. Sometimes you are the reason why other people raise standards. So you have to consider that, of course. But you also have to think about, hey, are there people around me that are raising my standard? Are they challenging me? Are they being real? Are they pursuing something that is worth pursuing? And if that's not the case, maybe you're settling for your standards because there's no one around you to raise it. Now, I was blessed that day that Vishen raised my standard, because I've gone on to not only run campaigns that make hundreds of thousands of dollars, I've built companies that have done multiple 8-figures, campaigns that have done millions of dollars in sales. And that's not to talk about money, but everything in life is a standard. You gotta raise your standards. Your loved one, my partner sets my standard as much as I set hers, right? But this partnership, this dance of growth needs to happen together. It cannot happen just by ourselves. Sometimes you won't even be able to see what standard you can have because you don't have the right people around you to raise your standard, right? So ask yourself, the quality of surrounding that, first of all, you are for people around you as well, right? On a scale of 1 to 5, I want you to see if you have the quality that actually raises your standard of surroundings you, right? Do you inspire other people around you? Do you inspire you? Are you raising that standard on a scale of 1 to 5? Right? I'm seeing 3s, I'm seeing 1s, somehow I'm seeing a 10. You can do a scale of 10, that's 5, but I just wouldn't know if you're doing a 5 or a 1 or 3, right? So you should know for yourself, first of all, right? Second is loved ones. Loved ones are kids. Are they raising your standards? Are they asking more of you? Right? Your partner, are they asking more of you? What about your friends? How would you rate them as somebody who raises your standards? Right? Colleagues, the local or national surroundings. And if you don't have them as people who set a new standard for you, I want you to ask yourself, what can you do about it? Can you somehow change that environment? Can you somehow remove yourself from environments or add yourself to a different environment? See, one of the things that we find in our communities here at Mindvalley is when people come together, they often say, I raise my standard more because of this community than the people I hang out with at my house or people I hang out with in my neighborhood. People who come to our certifications often go, well, this community is the best community I've ever had. I found my next best friend, my next best friends. That's why people love our live events. They go, damn, I come to the live event and I found my 3 really, really good friends, not because they have spent so much time with me, but because they are my new standard raisers. They're the people who challenge me, not in a negative way, but they challenge me because they see the potential in me. How many of you, by the way, can use a friend like that? Right? A friend or a colleague or a person or partner where you go, I want somebody to be my vision, who challenges me and sees my potential even before I see my potential. Look at that. Look at that. This is so many yeses. Me, yes, I needed that 10 because you can be for each other. This is what you can be for each other. You don't even have to wait. Today can be that friendship. Today can be that community that you find. Sorry about that. Today could be that community that you find where you end up raising each other's standards. I'm so glad we are all here, right? So these are the 2 ways you can raise your standard. First, Pat, and you understand that raising your standard is probably the foundation of you create an extraordinary life, right? Now, once you know that your standard, or what is the standard that you're going for, right? And intention sets attention to intention, sets our pace, sets it into reality or puts it into reality, right? So remember, our attention to intention. So whatever was your intention, I want you to remind yourself of that intention. I want you to see how that fits that intention. So if you're like, I'd like to get over my fear of X. All right, which category was that? Where are we raising that standard? What path are we choosing? Are we using path 1, which is to find my favorite self in that category and chase it? Or I'm choosing path 2 because I feel like I can find the right people around me much more easily, and let's choose that path. Or I'm one of those overachievers that I'm going to do both. Right? I'm going to find my favorite self. I'm going to become pursuant to that. And then I'm going to find the community that really pushes me and gets me to my 100, right? Raises my standards. I see a lot of boths. I love that. I'm a both type of person too. Why settle for one when you can have a both? And like we said, life is about having it all, and you can have it all. And I have all the evidence to prove that everybody, all of us, can have it all. So let's have it all, right? Why settle? Why have only one when we can have all, right? Now, once you know your standards, once you are clear on your standards, when you're moving towards your standards, then it becomes, how do I realize this in my life? How do I make it real? Right? How do I make these standards real? Because, sometimes intellectually we go, yes, this makes sense. Yes, I should chase this. Yes, I'm going to pursue this direction. But then you go, but how does this work in life? How does this actually work in real world? Right? And when that question becomes, I found this model to be the most successful. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the model that we train coaches on. But but the model can be utilized as a self-coaching model. by self-coaching, what does it mean? Because some of you might go, what does self-coaching mean, Ajit? Self-coaching is your ability to be able to coach yourself when a real coach is not available, right? Or you feel you can't afford a real coach, or you haven't found a real coach. If you don't agree with coaching by somebody else, it's all good. Then you can coach yourself. I'm sure you agree with the idea of coaching because you have seen athletes perform, you have seen entrepreneurs perform, and they all have a coach. There must be a reason why. And the reasoning is mostly because a lot of times we can't see what we can't see. And we need somebody to reflect so we can see what we need to see, right? So we can do what we need to do. And you will see the model that I'm going to bring presence to today is a self-coaching and a coaching model. You can utilize to help other people, but you definitely can utilize to help yourself. And because there's a Mindvalley container, Mindvalley community, I know you're all growth-centered individuals. So I will present this model as you using it for yourself. Okay? Would that be cool? Say yes. Yes, thank you. Sometimes it takes a second. Okay, sip of water here. By the way, before I get into the next segment, how was the first part? We are about an hour in here. Huh? I don't feel the energy dropping at all. I'm so pumped and ready. Is it feeling good? I see a lot of awesome, amazing, interesting, great, love it, good, great, amazing. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Let's get into the next phase because there's so much more to go, right? The next one, the 4-part model that you can utilize to coach yourself or coach anybody else. You're going to focus this model on coaching yourself. The 4 parts to it, I'm going to tell you the 4 parts, and then I'm going to take you through the 4 parts. The first part is called presence. Presence, or your ability to be in this present moment. It's a very coaching specific thing to understand on how, first of all, why it's important, how it works, and then how to really practice it in life. Often it's very eluding to people. So I'm going to give you a practice, actually 2 practices that you could almost immediately bring to your life, and it'll help you get more present, right? And that is the key to transforming and going forward and raising your standards through your life, right? The second is what I call organize your mind. Most of our minds, because of the amount of information that comes at it, and also because how it's organized, because it's organized for high volume of data, often is frazzled, distracted, and is unaware of what actually is happening. So most of us operate usually in what we call a default setting, right? And I'm sure you resonate with that, right? Every day feels like the same day or a similar day, if not the same day, right? You operate and respond to things pretty much the same as you have been responding for most of your life or some of part of your life, except for if you have had a serious upgrade somewhere. And that's called a default set, right? But you can organize your mind once you understand how your mind can be tricked to recreate the thought structure that would change your life going forward. The third part is what we call bioengineering, which is your ability to transform your mindset and turn it into a set of habits and behaviors that become real in your life that then can create whatever results in the physical realm, not just intellectually or spiritually, but in the physical realm, it'll transform the reality around you. And the last bit is called connectedness, because all of us, or most of us, are aware that there is something greater than us, or something greater than what we understand psychologically, philosophically, intellectually, scientifically. There's something greater. And that often is what is the highest self, the greatest self, the one universal mind, or to simply put it in practical terms, a purpose that we move towards. Right? And we're going to take an exploration on all of them, so don't worry about it. We're going to go right in there. So the first thing that we want to be mindful about or want to think about is what is called presence. And the way I currently, especially if you're spending too much time on Instagram, on a lot of personal growth accounts, sometimes this is how your truth may look like. I am who I am because of all these things that happen in my life. I am who I am because all of these things that happen in my life. Sounds like generically correct statement, right? It sounds like this is how life should be done because this is who I am because of all of these things that happen in my life. It's been happening for me 40 years of my life. There's nothing much I can do to change, right? This is just who I am, right? Because what has happened is while philosophy and psychology takes a lot of evolutionary turns, where there's a point where Freud's philosophy of your past creates your future, or your past, not that it's not trying to butcher Freud here. That's not, he's an amazing human being who has contributed greatly to society. That's not what I'm trying to do here. But his philosophy became the basis of the the therapeutic world in the past, right? And the thing that got highlighted was that we must fix the past. We must fix the past to fix the future. And that tend to become everybody's story. And what happens is, because as human beings, and I'm gonna get real with you for a hot second, so bear with me. But as human beings, we want to feel seen. We want to feel understood. We want to be accepted. Would you agree? Like, I know I feel that in my heart, right? And I have found that to be true for a lot of people, right? We want to be seen. We want to be understood. And what happens because of that is sometimes our orientation or our desire or our attention goes to anything that will get us attention. If I start telling you something that has happened for me, that impacted me deeply, that sounds really traumatic, even if it wasn't, would I get your attention? Right? You can see the yeses coming in, right? And I know it's like, Ajit, what are you doing here? Right? You're going on a tough territory, and I know I am. But sometimes what happens is we hold on to our past because it gives us this immediate sense of acceptance in the present. And that's a good feeling. You have a friend that always seemed to have the worst day ever. Have you had a friend, or if you have a friend right now, they're always having the worst day. Right? You hear me. I see a lot of yeses coming, like, oh, I know that person. Right? Because guess what they get in the moment? Whenever they're having the worst day, your love, your acceptance, your understanding. Right? Now, the unfortunate thing with this is because in the present, we crave so much attention, love, and acceptance from the world outside of us, is we forget that our life is getting trapped in the trauma of our past instead of the creation of our present. We get stuck in the cycle of thinking that my past did this, my mother did this, my father did this, my ex-husband did this, my ex-partner did this, and so I must be like this. Instead of saying, it's the past. The only thing I must be is who I want to be. My past doesn't define my present. My stories of my past is defining my present. If I stop telling myself the story of my past in the way I'm telling the story of my past, if I stop considering that the story of my past defines me, my present gets all the power to create whatever it wants to create, going on to the future. Now, sometimes we have the other problem. We think so much about the future that we forget that this is the moment where we get to experience everything. So either we are burdened by our past or we are anxious about our future. How many of us feel at any given time, I'm either burdened by my past or anxious about my future? Right? Or both. Some of you went, I'm both. I am either burdened by my past or anxious about my future at the same time. But here's the thing. We think the past holds us. We think the future holds us. But if you really compress the past and the future together, you bring it together, there's only one moment in time where the past and the future are happening at the same time. That's right now. That's this moment. This moment, the second that passed by was the past, and the second that's happening as I'm speaking is the future. So past and future happening at the same time. So guess the moment that actually holds all the power. This moment right now. Which means if you want to drop that bag that you've been carrying all this while, my friend, those 1,000 memories that make you feel like it's so heavy, you don't have to take out every stone every time. You don't have to take out one memory at a time. Just drop the bag. It's lighter. Let that past not hold you. Let that past not slow you down. Let the present take ownership. If you're always so scared, where am I going? How am I going? Will I get there? You can just surrender for a second and see how light that is. that this moment is all that matters, and this presence is all that matters, that we are here right now having this moment is all that matters, that right now, if you decide, life's going to be different, starting this moment. Now, getting into the present moment is one of those exercises that takes several months for you to really, really get comfortable, and I don't have a baggage and I don't have a fear, right? It's going to take a lot of time. And I'm not saying that I can fix it in the next 5 seconds, because what I am known for is that if we work together in the next 3 years, your life will be exactly as you want it. You will have no baggages, you have no problems. I'm not the guy who comes in and says, oh, you're struggling right now, I'll save you. That's not me, right? I'm the guy who, you give me a year, you give me 6 months, you give me 3 years. You want a life, we'll have that life, right? We are going to change you, not for the moment, we'll change you for lifetime, right? So while I cannot give you presence all the time right now, I can give you a tool to get present in this moment. Would you like that? So yes in the chat. Yes, awesome. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to invite you to stand up. I'm sorry, and I know you might be like, I'm sitting comfortably or lying down comfortably right now. But I want you to stand up because it will help you get present to the moment, okay? We're going to do a little practice from Qigong, and I'll integrate this with a little bit of breath work. So it'll allow you to feel the power of the present moment, right? So what I want you to do is, if you're standing up already, if you're sitting down, that's fine too. But if you're standing up, this will help. And you can't see my legs, and that's okay. But what I want, you'll feel what I'm doing. So don't worry about it, right? Take a deep breath in. And then breathe out. Make the exhale longer than the inhale, okay? Take a deep breath in. Breathe out. Take a deep breath in. Breathe out. I want you to do is I want you to start noticing the tip of your fingers. Tip of your finger, pinky finger on any of your hands, both hands. Start feeling the tip of them. Just feel the tip of them. Now, I want you to take your hands. Now, I want you to breathe in. And as you breathe in, imagine taking the energy around you, capturing it. But I want you to capture the energy around you as you breathe in, and as if you're capturing all the energy that is around you. And as you breathe out, bring that energy down to your face, to your heart, to your belly. And as you go around the belly, lift your hands back up and take that energy back in and breathe in. You can guess where it is. Breathe in. As you pick the energy back, breathe in. And take that energy ball almost that you have now and take it behind your head as if it was a pillow. And then go around, capture the energy again, breathe in. And as you breathe in, pick that energy from around you, take it up, and then bring it back down. As you breathe out, bring it down to your face, to your neck, to your heart, to your belly, and then breathe in again. And as you breathe in, pick the energy back up, take it around behind your head like a pillow. And as you go around, I want you to pick the energy around you, capture it all. Now you should at this point feel some sensation in your fingertips and in your hands. This is just energy. Breathe in, bring this energy down to your belly. Get right back up and take it around as you breathe in. You take it behind your head like a pillow. Yes, you're just doing it again and again. If you're not feeling anything, breathe in a little bit more deeply and with more intention of capturing energy around you. Close your eyes. This is very distracting. I know I'm keeping my eyes open so I can actually read your comments, but stay present to this. Keep your eyes closed. Follow what I'm saying. Just hear it and follow it along. Take a deep breath in. Capture the energy around. Take it behind your head, like a pillow. Capture it. Bring it down to your face, to your neck, to your heart, your belly. Breathe in again. Pick up the energy and take it around behind. All right? Do it very, very slow and intuitively breathe. It's okay if you're not perfecting, because again, I'm not trying to get you to perfect Qigong here. I'm not trying to get you to perfect anything here. I'm trying to bring you to the moment, or hoping to bring you to the moment in this very short time that we have, where you can experience a little bit of energy, a little bit of tingling, a sensation on your fingertips, on your face, on your eyes, on your neck, and your belly. Because when you pay attention to that, when you stay present to that breathing, when you stay present to that simple movement, and it's okay if the movement a little bit off, don't worry about it. Just stay present to it. Keep doing it. Okay. What happens as you keep doing it, as you notice it, suddenly you're not thinking about anything else, are you? You're just present with you. Yes, that's great, right? Just getting present to your body, getting present to quiet calmness, just with little tingling sensation going, that feels good, that feels good, that feels nice. Right? That's the moment, that has the moment of creation. This is the moment of flow. This is the moment of joy. This is the moment where you get to be like, oh, wow, I can lean into this. I can be present to this. Right? Somebody said, unless you have a cat. Yes. Put the cat out of the house and then try it. I'll bring you back. I'll bring your attention back here. Right? We all are capable of doing this. It does require a little bit of patience. It does require a little bit of pacing yourself down, and your mind is gonna want to race all the time. When you're trying to get present, it will want to race because it wants to hold on to the bag of the past or fear about the future. We don't want that. We want to get to this moment, because this moment's got all the power. Once we realize this power, we don't have to be burdened by the past, and we don't have to be fearful of the future. So I want you to consider such practices for you, and consider that this moment is the moment that you have. And like I said, it's a practice. It's not a one-time quick hit thing, right? But you have experiences. A lot of it. How many of you experienced it? I see some comments coming in, which is awesome, where this is a great practice. I feel like I feel really great. I feel like a smile. I love it. Calm. I can feel it. I'm present. Amazing. That's the idea. The idea is to get you to stay and get present to this moment, because once you get present to this moment is when you can really organize your mind. You see, when we are not present to the moment, what will happen is, let's say you have an event that happens, whatever the event could be, right? It could be where, say, you are attending a seminar and suddenly you're feeling overwhelmed and you're like, I need to eat, right? And that could be happening for some of you, right? Now, it could be real hunger, or it could be overwhelm that's triggering an action of eating. And that's basically what happens all through our day, all our life, is an event triggers an action. But the process is not event equals to action. That's not what it actually happens. Your event is actually triggering a thought in your mind. I'm overwhelmed, or an emotion, whatever, right? It's a thought, right? I was like, oh, this is too much. It's probably the thought, right? So there's a thought. And then based on that thought, there's a familiar thinking pattern that you've always utilized that you default to, right? So this happens really in a microsecond, right? So you have the event happening, you have a thought. Thought has no emotion on the self. It's just a thing. It's like, oh, I'm overwhelmed, whatever. Doesn't matter, right? So it doesn't have an action associated to it. It's just a thought. It's neutral. right? But the thinking is what creates the emotion. The thinking could be, I'm overwhelmed. Ooh, I'm overwhelmed. I feel like I'm feeling anxious because this is overwhelmed and so forth, right? And because of that, you go into an emotion, and that emotion goes, oh, because I'm having this emotion, I must take action to subside this emotion, right? And that action creates outcomes. So if you are somebody who finds yourself emotionally eating, it's because of the events that are triggering those emotions. If you find yourself constantly dating the same person, the action of dating the same person is because of an event and a default set of thinking or default set of thinking pattern that you have always chosen. And that's why you end up in the same action again and again and again as a repeating pattern, right? But you can't observe that till the time you're present in the moment, right? So in the present moment, as I have a little bit of presence from you, because we were able to generate that a little bit, I want you to become present to what's the event that tends to create the thought that is so repeating in your life that the action that you tend to have is the action that you don't desire, right? For example, it could be dating the same person, right? It could be dating, it could be doing the same kind of work. It could be when, let's say you are in a job and you don't like the boss, or the boss complains about something, or you feel like every time you make a little bit of money, you spend it all, right? Or it feels like you don't make any money, right? So those are actions, but what is the event that triggers that, right? Those are the outcomes of the actions, and those are events that actually trigger it, right? So because of that, what tends to happen is we choose the familiar thinking pattern. Because we choose the familiar thinking pattern, we get the familiar action. What if we could change the thinking pattern? If you could change the thinking pattern, we can probably get to a different state of actions. And if we could get to different state of actions, we'll probably have a different life. Would we agree to that? Does that make sense? Yes, right? This makes perfect sense, right? So how do we do that? How is it that somebody actually takes the familiar patterns that they might have and actually change their life from them, right? So here is the thing that we're going to do, right? We're going to pick one of the, like, you chose a different category or chose a category for changing your standards. You chose how you're going to change your standards. We want to think about one of the habits or one of the actions or one of the events that you're like, this is a repeating pattern in my life. We're going to identify one of such things, right? And we're going to take or ask ourselves, my belief about X, is it true? So say, for example, I'm going to take a very general example. I'm not saying it's applicable to everyone, but I found this to be applicable to a lot of people. Is a general understanding around love, or a challenge around love or money, is that people think or people believe that they are not good enough for the money they want to make or the love they want to have, right? That tends to be a repeating pattern, especially when people find it hard to find love or be able to generate abundance. If you resonate with, I don't feel good enough for money or good enough for love, would you say yes in the chat so I know that, yes, this is one of those common things for you guys as well? Cool, perfect. I see enough yeses to continue in this tangent and direction. Cool. So if you feel I'm not good enough for love, is there evidence that actually proves that? Right? Is this actually true? The thing that you will find is, and I'll give you a related story of mine, so maybe you'll be able to relate to it better. So when I was about 18 years old, and this is just I'm going to shorten the story real fast, right? So I was about 18 years old. I joined this organization, and there was one of my friends. She was a female, and she's still my friend. There was a female friend of mine. I really, really liked her, and I was like, I think I love this guy. I want to date this guy, right? So one day I do what boys do. I said, hey, listen, I really like you. I think if you would be open, I'd love to take you out for dinner and so forth. So take you out on a date. And she goes, no, we can't do that. I love you as a friend. And I was like, okay, it's okay. I didn't take anything to it. But what happened was, because we were in this organization, the next day onwards, I felt like everybody was looking at me weird and funny. And one friend was kind enough to come tell me that, dude, not actually kind, he was actually the boyfriend. So my friend had started dating somebody in the organization, and I didn't know about that. So I was not asking her to break up with anyone, but he basically told everyone about it and started making fun of how I proposed to her. That made me feel, when I was 18, that I am not good enough for love. for a very good time. And because of that, I ended up in a relationship that was the first relationship that said yes, to me, or who kind of approached me instead of me approaching them, right? The first relationship after that, I said, yes, let's get into a relationship, right? And that led me to my first bad relationship. Like I was with the person for 5 years. We even kind of got married and started living together and all that stuff. And it was terrible for me. It was terrible for them. And that was because I had programmed myself 10 years before that, based on 18-year-old Ajit. And not only 18-year-old Ajit, everybody around me at that time was 18, 19, 20 years old. At 18, 19, 20, what do you know about love? How do you know if you're good enough for something, good enough not for something, right? But I had set my thought pattern, my thinking pattern around how I see myself as a lovable or non-lovable person because of something silly that an 18-year-old me considered. Now, I'm almost 40 now, right? I realized this pattern 10 years ago. So good that I don't feel like that anymore, right? I think I'm very lovable. Do you think I'm lovable, guys? Can I get some acceptance here? Can I get a yes or something? All right, great, thank you. I am a lovable character, or at least I love myself, right? But the challenge that tends to happen is sometimes we have taken this thought pattern that happened so many years ago, and we say, this is the truth, and we hold on to it so tight. So if we go and find that event that may have triggered that thought pattern for you and had made that the default for you to think, you would find evidence, like I just shared my evidence, right? We were all 18 years old. Who knows about love and acceptance at that time? No, like you have to be incredibly mature. I wasn't. I'm sure they weren't either, right? Which is why all that happened, what happened, right? But I had to carry that. But the moment we realized it's not actually true, because I believe so, because of that stupid ass event that happened often, 10, 20 sometimes. And like I shared with you earlier in this event, some people are carrying that thing for like 40, 50 years. Right? Is that true? Still for the version that I am today? Is that true for the version that you are today? Probably not. Probably not, right? So the first question that I want you to answer is it true? Right? And once you go, maybe it's not true. Maybe it's not true. What else could be true? Right? What it does is it helps us see the other times that you must have experienced love and being loved and accepted. Right? You may have felt so loved and accepted and charming, or whatever the thing is, right? From your friends. You may be thinking, oh, I'm not good enough for money because some, let's say, manager said something stupid to you, or some parent said something because of their own insecurity. And you go, well, yeah, they thought that, yes. And if I consider these other perspectives, that doesn't sound accurate at all. Like, for example, if anybody told you, and that becomes a default setting, oh, not everybody can get rich, and you go, well, then how are all these other people rich? Oh, you come from a background that you cannot be successful. Then how all these other people that came from the same background became successful? Sorry about that. Oh, you have to have a degree to get successful. Well, how are all these people who are not that educated that successful? Right? So suddenly you go, oh, the story I told myself is just a story. It's just one thought. There are so many other perspectives to consider. And once you know there are many perspectives to consider, you may ask yourself, hey, what is it? Perspective-wise, what's the thinking pattern that is actually empowering them? That is actually going to move me forward, right? Because the thing that I'm believing right now is definitely not helping me move forward, right? So if you go, all right, so all this stuff that we're talking about, or that I've hold on to, is not helping me. But if I choose what I call an empowered thought, or a thought that is actually putting me in an empowered state, a state where I am the creator, what would that thought be? The thought might be, I'm good enough, I'm lovable, I'm charming, I'm hot, I'm sexy, whatever you want to call it, right? You say, this is who I am really, right? And you start telling yourself that story. You start telling it that empowered thought to yourself, and suddenly what happens is you say, hey, if I believe this thought, let's say for 7 days, and I'm going to give you this experiment, by the way, for the next 7 days, if you would choose to accept, if I may say that, right? If you choose to accept this mission, my friends, I give you this experiment for the next seven days. Is take that empowered thought and say, wear it on like a jacket, right? Say, I'm going to wear the thought that I can make as much money I want, right? That I am a master manifester, that I am lovable, I am desirable, that I'm hot, that I'm sexy, that I'm powerful, whatever that is. It's an experiment, right? It's an experiment. If you try it on for 7 days, what I would ask you to consider, what I would ask you to note is that you, because of the way you start operating, because of your owning that thought, you're kind of wearing that thought on, even if you're not 100% sure of it, you're just wearing it. If you'll note, your life will start to change a little bit. It's not going to be completely transformed, but it'll start changing because your thoughts will start changing the way you operate and move in the world. And because of the way you start moving in the world, suddenly everything that sounded so not for you, or it's for them, or it's not available to me, I can't have it, all of those thoughts start to disappear. They start to go away in thin air for some reason, right? So I want you to do this thought experiment for 7 days. But the key to success is to note small differences. Because if you'll try to think my 30 years of programming will go away in the next 7 days, unfortunately, that's not how this works. I remember this thing that happened at one of our events, and I was coaching the entire room, and phenomenal lady, really kind-hearted. She gets up after this a similar exercise that we were doing, and she goes, Ajit, I have been believing I'm a money magnet for 30 days now. 30 days. Nothing has changed for me. Nothing. And I said, okay. How long have you believed that money is not for you? How long have you believed that you cannot have money, or money is just not, it's not available to you? She says, well, I'm about 50, and I think I've had that belief for the last 40 years. So you want to reprogram completely yourself from 40 years of programming to 30 days, and you want universe to work that fast for you, that it will make you a millionaire in 30 days, while for 40 years you believe that you cannot have more than X $1,000 or X $100. And she went, huh? I'm like, yeah, it's not going to change overnight. Things have to come together. But if you start noticing, you would see the shift start to happen. It's not going to completely transform. I ain't promising you some snake oil here. I'm not going to say, oh, tomorrow you close your eyes and say, I'm going to have $1 million, and you will have it in 7 days because I'm wearing it like a jacket. That's not how this works. That's not how it works. I have no evidence in my experience of life or of any other trainer or coach that can possibly pull that off. But do I have evidence of people who tried on for 7 days, 10 days, 30 days, 100 days, a year, and have they made thousands and thousands of dollars? Absolutely. I can even tell you names. I actually wrote it down because I knew some of you would go, it doesn't work. Just 2 days ago, I was talking to one of our students at Certified Life Coach, who's a certified life coach with me. She has done the course for about 1.5 years now. And she used to have a different practice. She was sick and tired of it. She was like, I don't want this anymore in my life. Her name's Jamie. And she started coaching October last year. So it's about 4 or 5 months? 4 or 5 months. And she literally, it's her numbers. I'm not making this up. She said end of January, she'll report $75,000 in earned income in just coaching, right? So it took 4 months for her. Now, she's somebody who doesn't have money mindset issue in the sense of she's not a millionaire or anything like that, but she's made hundreds of thousands of dollars before. But her journey from new coach to making money as a coach is 75 grand in 4 months. I think is incredible, right? I also remember Aarti. Aarti is another coach of ours who was struggling with her last job about 1.5 years, 2 years ago when she did our certification. And then she decided to do the certification, quit her job, and started her career as a coach just about 1 year ago, I want to say now. And she reported that her revenue has been $330,000, or she will clock $330,000 in 2024 with the contract she has already signed, right? I think that's incredible, guys. But that's possible because they have organized their mind to think differently. They don't believe that a job or a safe job is the only way to make money. They don't believe that anymore. But it took time, it took effort, it took consistency of that belief for you to reprogram and re-emphasize and create this new belief system for you. But can you generate thousands and thousands of dollars? Can you find love? I found love because of that. Once I started to believe that I am lovable, I'm attractive, I'm hot, I'm beautiful, I started to operate in the world that way. And I had no challenge in attracting the right kind of partners. Not everybody is my partner. I don't like every person, like nobody does, right? But the people I like, people that I'm attracted to, or I was, now I'm in a wonderful marriage and I'm very, very great relationship. But at the time, suddenly I had no barriers. I had no barriers connecting to women. I had no barriers connecting or attracting the right kind of partners, heart-centered individuals like myself, to come into my life and be my partners. And until I found the partner that I really, really am attracted to, love, and I want to grow with the rest of my life. So yes, you can have any mindset for any duration of your life, and you can completely change it, but it'll take presence. It'll take organizing your mind. Do we hear that? Does that make sense? Can I get a yes? Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. How are we doing till now? Are we loving this? Can I get a little love? Yes, heart, something. So I know this is working out for you guys. You're getting some real tools, some real practices. You're seeing how this work can impact your life. Thank you. There's some really long comments. I, of course, cannot read them, but I'm seeing the hearts. I'm seeing the love. Thank you. Really, really appreciate it. One thing that you will note is I am a coach, which means I thrive on feedback. If I know it's working, I know what to do more of, right? So, which brings me to the next section, okay? The next section is all of this thing, as of now, what we did is a little bit spiritual, a little bit intellectual, right? It's like, all right, get present by breathing, getting really present to the moment, feeling it, right? Then we talked about our mind. We said, all right, you can organize your thoughts. You can actually choose a different thought, right? Intellectual. But how do we bring it to practice? How do we bring it to this physical realm? How do we have that kind of discipline that you need, that kind of consistency, that kind of attitude and aptitude to be able to create all these manifestations and realities in our life? And again, remember, and we all agree to this now, we all can have it all, right? So we are going to continue to operate from that. And I'm going to give you the next thing that is important to note as you create this new dream reality. And that's called bioengineering. Bioengineering is a larger segment, but we are going to talk about one very specific part of it that is helpful to you. And that is called HITS. In summary, it's how you really create habits in your life, or how do you embody habits in your life, or how do you have the right kind of habits in your life. And I want you to remember this acronym because it will always guide you to go back to if you're feeling lost at any point in your life and going, how do I build that thing, right? HITS. A habit is created with an identity shift, which is the I, which is triggered with some trigger events, and it requires skill over time to be able to actually become a habit, right? The most common challenge people have with habits is they think it is, especially when it comes to habits of being things like confident, right? Or being consistent. People think, oh, it's a feeling. You know, it's not a feeling. All of these things are habits and they can be developed as skills. So what I want you to remember is, first of all, your favorite self is the identity that we are going to chase, right? We got to know where we are going, right? So that's why we first identified, hey, what is it that I want to be even, right? So that's your favorite self. You want to be your favorite self. That's the identity that we're going to go for, right? Then what we want to find out is, what are the triggers that will help us lean into this identity? We did a little bit of this work when we were talking about our favorite self, how it gets triggered, how, you know, what is the alter ego name? What are the triggers that gets us into this identity? Because that's where we get back into the identity. Get back into the identity, right? And then lastly, the skills. Skills are things that you need to learn or grow into so you can actually upgrade your life. Skills, and I'm gonna ask you to reframe everything in your life as a skill. Everything in your life, right? Confidence, skill. Being healthy, skill. Being abundant, skill. And I'll make my argument for it in a second. But let me tell you how this works in real world, right? So about 2.5 years ago, I had my daughter. My daughter's name is Isla. She was born 30th May. And around July 1st, in the heat of Austin, or actually late July in the heat of Austin, I was out with my son. My son's 3 years elder to my daughter. His name is Ari, Arian for full, and Ari for short. And so I go in and I say, Ari, let me take you out. It's been, we've been cooped up a little bit. It's really hot outside. If you know anything about Austin, it's like 100 degrees here at that time in July. And so I'm like, let's go out, let's go play. And so I take him out to the playground, and we're playing tag, and we're tagging. And soon enough, in a couple of minutes, because of the heat and all the running that I was doing with him, I am exhausted. I'm going, and Ari, he's 3 at that time, or like 2.5, whatever. And he goes, Dada, run with me. A tag. I was like, no, Ari, no. It's like, yeah, we will run. We were just running. Let's take a break. He goes, no, Dada, let's run. Dada, run. Like, Ari, buddy, we were just running. I'm a little tired. Buddy. And then he looked in my eyes, and like a real powerful coach, right as he straight looked in my eyes and told me, Dada, you always tired. Dada, you always tired. If you've had children, a kid telling you that, it's different. If you've not had children, still hits different, right? Dada, you always tired. As a father of a 3-year-old and 2-month-old, no, I don't want to be always tired. There's no way I want to be tired. And that hit really hard, right? And that time, my body fat percentage was like 28% or something. I was a little bit overweight. And I was also kind of like going, dude, you're a coach. And you always tired. Now, I'm sure that was not the first time my son told me that, or the last time he told me that, but it meant something to me. And I decided that my favorite self on my health is not this version. My favorite self on my health is something better, greater, something that I really want to aspire to. And that put me on the track of finding my identity and creating my favorite self identity, which I get to live today. But how I got here is because ever since that happened, first was to call all my friends. Of course, you're part of Mindvalley community. You might have heard of Lorenzo and Ronan and all these amazing coaches that can truly transform your lives. I called them and I said, dude, I need help. Like, this is what happened in my life right now, and I need to change. So first thing that I did was I found the identity, my favorite self, which we have done as an exercise, so Second thing I did is I identified triggers. I realized that every single day, the time that I do emotional eating, or I was doing emotional eating, was if I didn't plan my lunch around 12:31, it would effectively mean I would order some nearest garbage I can get. And that would effectively mean I'll eat that stuff, right? Because I work from an office, right? And that meant that my first category of actually transforming your health is to transform your food habits, right? My food habits were terrible. The second thing was that around 3:30, as I would finish my work, usually I would not have anything else on my agenda. And I said, if I trigger an event around that time for me to go to the gym as a trigger event, it says, love your body. To do anything that way you love your body. You could be walking, running, going to the gym, whatever that is, right? Love your body. I put that in my calendar, and I'm somebody who is very driven by his calendar. I love my calendar. I do things by my calendar. I said, I'm going to trigger that event so I can go do that thing. And the last thing that I needed is I go to the gym, because that's where I thought that's the place where I wanted to start. I needed to go to the gym, but most of the times what happens, guys, and tell me if this is true for you. If you're new to going to the gym, you go to the gym and then you feel lost and confused, don't you? Right? If you've never been to the gym, I was somebody who had like literally never been to the gym before. like off and on here and there. I knew what weights are, but that's pretty much it, right? So what happened was a lot of the times I would go in and I was like, what am I doing? Right? Then I started doing 10x. So I had some, yes, model to move, but still I was like, I don't know if this is working. This is not working. So what I forgot at that time, which I learned over time, which is why HITS model comes in, is that everything, when you start new, if you don't consider the skills part, which is for me, was to work out how do you use the gym equipment? What is doing what? Right? If you don't know that, the triggers and identity will fall apart. Right? Because you're not approaching it as a skill. You're not saying, oh, I'm learning. And when you're learning something as a skill, what's our attitude towards it? I'm learning how to drive a car. What's our attitude? The first attempt is going to suck, right? I wouldn't know. It'll jerk. It'll probably not work. I'll probably need a trainer, right? Somebody to guide me how to learn it. Now, driving a car is significantly easier than building a habit of being an athletic body or being a habit of the aspiring person that I want to be, the data I want to be, right? My favorite self, right? So what you need, or you need a coach. Yes, coach, trainer, whatever that is, but you need somebody to help you build the skills, but also you need the attitude to know that everything is a skill. And I want to encourage you to also consider even things like that you may not think are things like confidence is a coach. Confidence is a skill. Everything is a skill. Everything. And once you start approaching everything as a skill, you give everything the consistency and time that it requires for it to fully be developed. Right? So what I want you to think about is bioengineering as the next segment. Once you have organized your mind and you know where your thought is, you need to think about how is it that I can build habits that will help me take that thought into this physical realm, right? And for that, you need to embody your favorite self. You need to put in trigger events in your life and then lean into all of that as a skill. An approach needs to be of it as a skill. Okay? So I have 3 questions for you to answer, right? The first one is, what are the triggers, reminders, and actions that you can establish to operate from your new identity? Your favorite selves, that is, right? For me, it was a calendar event that would trigger, that was called Love Your Body, right? It was not go to the gym. I don't want it to sound painful. I want it to sound like this is something that's intentional, something that I want to do, right? What are your current skills that will allow you to live your identity? And this will inform you of a lot of the skills that you do not have, right? Which is the third question. What are the skills you will need to build or hire so you can realize this identity, right? You may have some skills in transforming an area of your life. And by the way, this is not only, I just gave you the example of health. If you think you know how to do relationship, it's the same. There are skills that you have in a relationship, skills that you need to learn in the relationship. One of the greatest skills to learn always is the skill to be able to coach yourself, right? That's what you're learning part of, at least today, right? So what you're doing is you are learning this skill, but you want to always identify what are the other skills I will need for me to realize this, right? For money, it might be the skill of keeping money, practical money, right? Because it's important to know how to practically manage money, right? Is this resonating? Are we understanding where we are at? Yes, amazing. So until now, and now we are at the 4th segment, which is the 4th segment of coaching yourself or coaching anybody, really, right? So once you have helped them really be present in the moment, identify their favorite self, realize where they're going. Once you have helped them organize their mind, once you've helped them build their habits, you need to help them be more connected. You need to be more connected. Now, again, connectedness is a big segment, and we are going to do 6 phase, which is one way to be very connected to your favorite self at all times. One of another ways, or one of the practices that I want to give you is belief in self. A lot of us are disconnected with our greatest capabilities. A lot of us are disconnected from our greatest capabilities. And the reason is because we had events in life in the past where the challenging times defined us, right? When we had a negative event, let's say somebody took money from you, right? You would be wary of other people taking money, or you would think, oh, people will steal money from me, right? If one person ever stole from you, right? Instead of thinking how you build systems that would never let you get cheated. We forget the version of us that became because of the challenge. We remember the challenge because our mind is wired that way, right? We want to not be threatened again. So we always remember, hey, this is the event that happened. And you keep reminding ourselves of these events that happened. We don't realize that every time that terrible event happened, created a version of you. It wasn't the challenge that made you. It's the growth after. And so the challenge means nothing because right after that growth, you probably 20x'd yourself. You probably changed phenomenally. You probably grew from it. Now, some of us are stuck in it, but a lot of us grew from it. Most of us did. If you increase the time frame of you looking at your own life, you will find you have 20x'd yourself enough times. What tends to happen? What tends to happen is we think, oh, I have next 12 months and I must achieve all the goals that I've set myself up for in the next 12 months. How many of us set up goals that are unreasonably so large that actually should be 5-year goals, but are 1-year goals? I'm going to have 6-pack abs this year. Have you ever trained? No. But this program is going to give me 6-pack abs in the next 3 months, in the next 12 months. I'm not saying dreaming big is bad, but consider how many times you end up giving up on your dreams because you put them on a timeline that doesn't make any sense. See, you are not going to be living only just this year. You are an infinite being. You're going to live for a very long time. If you're anywhere in your 30s, 40s, 50s, even 60s, you're likely to live till 100. Even 70s, you're likely to live to 100 or more. If you do this right, like if you take care of your body, if you take care of yourself, science is progress enough. We are beautiful long livers. But what we do is we think, you know what? We are going to live for a year. And so every goal that I've ever imagined is going to happen this year. Right? And we then quit on those things because we think, oh, it's not going to happen. It's just not going to happen because it's just, well, I've already wasted 2 months. Well, it's not going to happen. Right? But if we change our frame and we say, all right, let's think about my last 5 or 6 years or 10 years even. Have I grown dramatically? And I want you to say yes, because I want you to see each other as well for this. In the last 10 years, have you 20x'd yourself? You've done unimaginable things that you were like, damn, I didn't know I could do this. I didn't know I can achieve this. Look at the yeses. Right? So you and most of you have been able to do that if you just looked at a little different time frame in your life. Now, what if instead of just acknowledging your past that in the last 10 years, 5 years, you have 20x yourself, you instead of framing yourself for the next 1 year, frame yourself for the next 5 to 10. Do you think you can 20x yourself? Oh, yes, right? Now 20x your income today. Wouldn't that be exciting? 20x of the love that you have today. Wouldn't that be exciting? 20x of the friendships that you have. Wouldn't that be exciting? 20x of whatever that matters to you. Hell, wouldn't that be exciting? Right? But all you had to do was to switch the timeline, and now it all feels possible, isn't it? Right? So I want, and it's not going to actually take 5 or 10 years, to be very real, with my experience of manifestation and my experience of coaching and coaching myself and all of that. What I found is, yes, you'll put it out for 5, 10 years. It's just that because now universe goes, oh, thank God for not putting a timeline. I can actually work on it. It'll probably happen much faster. That's how I've 20x my life again and again and again. Any area of my life, things that I set for 5-year goals happen in 2 years. And the reason is because now I'm not forcing the universe. I'm just listening to it. I'm just dancing to it. I just have an intention that has my attention. So I can 20x faster. And that's the last part. Do you know what your 20x looks like? And it's not only true for me, my friends. It's not only true for me. There's a few of our students, like this is an email I got recently where there's a student of ours, her name is Julie. And Julie sent this email just January 3rd, one of those, this New Year's, I wanted to thank you. And when I read the email, I was like, thank you for sending this, Julie, because this is so important for people to know. She was somebody who was doing coaching, hypnotherapy and coaching, like she did certification somewhere else. And then she went in and did certified life coach. She just completely reoriented the way she thought about life in that program, and she says, in the next 2 years, after as I did the certification, as I did the other things in life, my dream was to make like $10,000-$20,000 a month as a coach. He said, Ajit, and at the time of sending the email, I don't know how much of it is true today, but the time of sending the email, which I think was 3rd of January is when I received the email, she said, Ajit, I'm having $20,000-$30,000 days. It's incredible what this program does for people. It's incredible what you do for people, which makes me feel really proud, because I also feel, thank goodness, it doesn't only work for me. It works for everyone. It will work for you. And I know this because I've seen evidence and I see it so many times. So ask yourself, what is the 20x version of you that looks like? And give yourself some time. Don't worry about this year. Write it for 5 years, write it for 10 years, and let's see how that unfolds. And I promise you, it will happen so much faster than whatever timeline you'll set up to. But just don't put a shorter timeline, because it'll make you anxious, make you fearful, and make you discount what's actually possible for you, right? So I would have loved to do that exercise with you, but I'm just a little behind time. And I know some of you are also waiting for Vishen to come on. I have 3 reframes that are going to be so helpful for the next 15 minutes. I'm going to give you those 3 reframes, but they're going to be so helpful for you. Because most often that I've found that once I give these practices to people, these are the 3 things that stops them being able to create whatever they want to create in their life. So I want to offer you these 3 reframes. Again, they are in your guidebook as well, in case you want to check them out later, also as exercises. But the first is that your default way of thinking is creating your current reality of life, irrespective of age and gender. A lot of people bring in the factor of, I'm too old, I have this gender, I have that gender, so it's not available to me. And it is simply the way we have been taught in society. And in one way, it is fair for society to teach us that way, in one way. Because if you think about it, like, let's just think about how society is structured. Let's do a thought experiment together, right? Anything around us. It's not designed for extraordinary people, right? It's designed for inclusion of as many people. Now, I'm not saying any human being is not extraordinary. That's not what I intend to say here, right? Everything in our society is designed to create inclusion. So even the ones that are struggling right now are held somehow, right? At least that's the intention of society, right? That's the intention of everything, right? But the challenge with that is that we always end up setting like a really low average for everyone, right? And so we lower the expectations, we lower the intentions, we lower the possibilities for everyone so everybody can feel included. Unfortunately for us, when that happens, we start to live life based on what the pattern society gives us. The way to change your life is to create a new thinking pattern, because the moment you create a kind of a tangent, just by changing one thinking pattern in your life, you start to change what happens next. And then it became, I do want to warn you, it will feel like hell. It will feel like hell when you change that, because things around you will start to change. You will change, and then your friends will start to change, and some people will accept you, some people won't. Your partner may accept you, partner may won't. You may choose a career that you may go, wow, I want to impact lives, I want to be a coach. And people around you may say, what is that? Why would you want to be that? And that may make you feel like, am I doing something wrong? You may have some bad weeks. You may have some bad days. You may have some bad months. But it all eventually is a path to create something so different and unique that nobody can tell you today what it would be. But when it will unveil, you will have a new life. So there is a way to go about in life, which is whatever, you can take this as a great experience and listen to it and forget about it tomorrow, and you will have the same life. Nothing wrong with that. Life is great irrespective if you choose to have it the same way as you've had always. Nothing wrong with that. Absolutely nothing. I would not doubt that. I wouldn't question that. Or you can decide to make a change in your thinking pattern today. You can decide right now what's going to be that new thought for me. You can decide right now what's that new decision is going to be for me. So would you make that decision? Would you make a decision that says, I'm going to change my life today? I'm going to choose a new thinking pattern. I'm going to choose a new path. I'm going to choose a new direction to travel. Seeing a lot of yeses come in. I want you to acknowledge what that path would be as well. Write that path for you. Will you start coaching yourself? Would you start considering that you may have labeled yourself in a wrong way because of whatever around you? Would you consider that you could have a different life, that possibilities are endless, and yes, that we can have it all? That you can have the love, that you can have the relationship, that you can have the health, that you can have the money, that you can have peace, that you can do meaningful work, that you can have the career that you want, that you can have it all. That alone will shift everything around you. The second most common thing, and I see this in our community, unfortunately, so much more, is we think, but now I'm 50, I'm 60, I'm 30, I'm 40, I'm 70, I'm too old, 75, I'm too old, I'm 80, it's too late. Like, how can I start a career now? And I found this exercise. I'm so grateful. Again, I tell you, a lot of times if we listen, if we are really willing to listen, and today might be that day for you as well. If you're willing to listen, there are many messages from the universe coming to you today. There was a message from universe came to me long time ago. I was listening to an online program by the gentleman called Dan Sullivan. He runs a company called A Strategic Coach. And he does this exercise that I thought was so wonderful. And I want to give that the gift to you today. Is if you wonder, whatever age you are, doesn't matter. If you're 20, doesn't matter. If you're 80, doesn't matter. I want you to ask a set of questions and then reconsider how you look at your life. See, the first question I want you to ask yourself is, how long do you think you will live? And most of the people have an arbitrary number that they actually think they unconsciously know. And usually this number is set to the person in their family that was close to them, and they passed at that age, right? And it's not a joke. And I did this exercise with my father, so I know this is true. And it can be, oh, it's 60, it's 80, 65, it's 90, whatever the age was, right? And that arbitrary number becomes our age. And we start operating in our life as that's how long I have to live, right? Now, I want you to ask a second question. Now, how would you, let's assume that that's the age you think you'll live to, right? How would you like to live at that age? So let's say if it was the age was 80 or 90, hypothetically, 80 or 90, right? 120, right? And even if 120, do this exercise, you'll love it. Yeah, you'll love it. Anyways, so if it's 120, go ahead and ask, how would you like to live at that age? Right? Would you be active? Would you be doing hikes? Would you be having a great time? Would you be creating impact in the world? Would you be presenting? Would you be dancing to the greatest music? Would you be on the beach taking a walk every morning? Wouldn't it be an exciting, fun life? Sorry about that. Wouldn't it be an exciting, fun life? Yes, right? I'll be barbecuing, all of that. Yes, I'll enjoy every day. Now think about a person that actually enjoys every day. They're living healthy, they're eating well, they're having a good time. Do you think the person actually passes when they're living a purposeful, happy life? No. No. If you're living a healthy, beautiful life, you'll probably live another 10 years from then, isn't it? You will probably living another 30 years from then. Oh, you suddenly feel, oh, even if I was thinking I'm going to live till 80, I'm actually going to probably live till 100. Even if I thought I was going to live till 75, I'll actually live till 100, 90, 100, right? If you're already over 100, you might be saying 250, right? And that's okay. All of those ages are fine. What I want you to see is the dissonance of where you are to where you will be. Let's say if you pass. right? I've given an example of 100 just to be safe. Let's just say it that way, because I didn't want you to feel like, oh, this is just overestimating. 100 is very believable in today's age from my perspective, right? So I'm just saying 100 for everyone, right? But if you think you are 20 years old, 20 right now, or 30 right now, right? If you live to 100, that's 70 more years left. 70 more years. That's twice of your current age, more than twice of the current age, right? So you get to live 2 more of all the life you've already lived, right? If that was the case, which is the case in this scenario, why would you want to live the same life that you're living right now? Why would you not invest the next 3 years in creating the life that you will love for the next 67 after that? Right? If you were 40, you have 60 more years to go. Why would you not take another 3 years to develop that 60-year-old, the next life that is going to be for another 56 years or 57 years? That's more than what life you have already lived. Even if you were 50, you have half the life left still. Why would you not take 5 months, let's say, that's less than 1% of your life, or about 1% of your life, or something like that, of the remaining life that you have? Even if you were 50 today, you have 50 more years to go. Take the next 5 months. Heck, take the next 5 years to build that life. So that's only 10% of your life. 90% of your life, you'll be living in so much joy. And you can keep doing this exercise for all the different years that are left. See, a lot of the times what happens is we're so oriented looking in the past and we go, I'm too old for this. You're not. You're too young to not change. You're too young to not change. You have so much more left. And I'm not even considering all the wisdom you have. You're not a 18-year-old kid. You're a 50-year-old man or a woman, 60-year-old man or a woman. You do things faster. You understand them faster. You have mindsets. You have grace. You have probably got some level of abundance at this point. You have done life. You have had partners. You have life behind you. Your next 40 years are 100 times better than your first 40 years. So if it takes 4 years to develop it, 4 months to develop it, does it matter? No. Take the time. You got enough time. Sorry about that. But take the time. You have enough time. You have so much time. Don't discount it. Don't do this stuff of I'm too old. You're not. If anything, you have so much life left. If you live anywhere in the world that has a decent medical system, doesn't even have to be a great medical system. I have 4 grandmothers that have lived till 95, and they live in India, right? So it's not like a developed world like USA, where medical system is even like so much better. They live in India. I mean, there's good medical systems there, but yeah, because that's the average age now. And they were all vital because they took care of themselves, right? So why not? Why discount ourselves? Why question we are too old? No, if you're 70, even if you have 30 more years left, that's half your life, by the way. That's half your life that you lived, right? So you got enough to go. Even if it takes you next 3 years to develop the next even if it takes you 3 years to develop the next 27 years, big deal. So even if you were 70, you got a lot. Even if you're 80, 20 more years to go. Even if it took you 2 years more to develop the next great 18 years of your life, it's totally worth it. If you're 90, it's totally worth it. And I'm sure you've extended your life. If at 90, you're attending the seminar for the past 3 hours with me, right? So you're already crushing it, right? So I want to invite you to consider and reconsider how much more life you have so you can make the most of the life that you have to go, right? And last note that I want to leave you with before I get my dear friend and a master trainer Vishen on, and if my team can already inform him that I'm ready in about 4 minutes, is start approaching everything as a skill. And I know a lot of things that we approach as feeling because we feel confident, we feel abundant. Treat it like a skill. Once you treat and reframe everything like a skill, what tends to happen is you start to go, oh, okay, if confidence is a skill, I can build it over time, right? because suddenly you have a different approach to it. You're not thinking about, do I feel confident today or not? No, you're saying it's a skill, which means with time and understanding, I will build this and I will be confident, even if I'm not confident right now, right? You become more pragmatic and practical about it. And once you become pragmatic and courage can be a skill, right? And there could be system behind these skills, right? Everything that you learn today, if you really think about it, are systems and approaches to be able to solve different areas of your life. You're a completely transformed human being today, just because of the last 3 hours that we spent together, 2.5 hours that we spent together, right? So my invitation to you is to start approaching everything like a skill. And if you start approaching everything like a skill, you will find that you will be able to create more momentum. How to think clearly is a skill. If you feel distracted, not being distracted is a skill. Start thinking about everything as a skill. Start approaching everything as a skill. And you will also learn with that is, yes, with understanding and time, you can build any skill, but also that with time, the skills get better, right? Which means if today your skill level of clear thinking is here, if you give it more time, your clear thinking will go here, right? I know some of these things you're like, clear thinking is a skill. Yes, they are. They can be developed. They can be harnessed within you. You are an infinite human being with infinite capabilities if you'd allow it, okay? And then lastly, that when you develop a skill, there's a default way to develop skill or the default path to develop skill, and that involves failing, which means the first few times you'll try anything new, it will not work. Just the default, just how it is, right? But if you give it time, if you let failure be information and not a detraction, you will see your skills will keep developing. All right. So with that, I am just right on time. If Vishen's available, he can come on. And I will be back with you in about 45 minutes with Vishen. But Vishen is coming on in any minute now. Thank you so much. I'm reading the comments. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Was this impactful? Can I get a few yeses? I'm seeing the love. Thank you very much. Very, very grateful for all of that. I see Vishen is live. Vishen, welcome back, my friend.
Thank you, Ajit. And thank you all for joining us. So I love seeing the numbers of this event go up, right? When we started, we had 3,200 people, and now we're at 4,100 people live with us. So in the next 45 minutes, I'm going to take you through a presentation on one of the most powerful daily practices that I do every single day. And it's called the 6-phase meditation. Now, many of you in the Mindvalley community are aware of the 6-phase meditation, but I want to do a quick survey. I want to do a quick poll. If you've experienced the 6-phase meditation, if you practice it, say yes. If you do not practice it, just say no. I want to see the yeses and the nos. Okay, so it looks about, well, actually, it's moving so fast, I can't even count. But it looks like it's about 40% yes, which is very exciting to me, and 60% no, because 40% is still a huge, huge, huge number. Now, for those of you who are familiar with the 6-phase meditation, I'm actually going to teach a new layer of it, a new dimension of it, based on new ideas, new practices that I have been exploring over the last 1 year. And so stay tuned, don't leave, because if you practice it, you're going to get incredible value from this, because I'm going to go significantly deeper. Okay? So first up, what is the 6-phase meditation? It is a protocol that is designed to put you in the most delicious state of mind every single day. And what this means is that this protocol is designed to ensure that as you are going through your day, you're absolutely beaming. Everything seems to just flow. You are focused at your work. You have creative ideas being generated. You're in persistent good moods, and life just seems easy. I was talking to a spiritual teacher of mine, and I asked him, what is the definition of spirituality? And he goes, so this guy comes from the Chinese lineage, right? Lao Tzu. So his spirituality comes from China. And I asked him, what is the definition of spirituality? And he said, it's when you've mastered life to the extent where life is just easy. And this is what we're going to be talking about. We're going to be talking about how to make life easy. Now, the 6-phase takes approximately 20 minutes. But in that 20 minutes, what happens is that you add perhaps an extra 2 hours to your day. That's what many people say. An extra 2 hours to your day because of how easy life becomes, because of how everything just seems to flow. So first, let me share my screen. And what I want to do is just give you a quick tour. I'm not going to play the presentation because I want to be able to jump through the slides. But I want to show you, for those of you who are new to the six phase, I want to give you an idea of what exactly happens when you do the six phase. So we're going to look at a couple of case studies. So firstly, the book is called The Six Phase Meditation if you are buying it in the US. In Britain, it's called Zero Bullshit Meditation because Brits have a more creative use of language and they are less prudish than Americans. And if you're Brit, you know what I'm talking about. So, a couple of things about the six phase. We get a ton of press on the six phase from professional athletes, from people who are on stage. Why? Because they immediately see results. If you apply this in your business, you are basically monitoring yourself. But if you're a public personality, if you're in a football arena, or if you're on stage, your results are measurable because you have an audience. And so many people who write in their feedback on the sixth phase are athletes, are pop stars, are people on stage because they directly see their game go up, their score go up. So Billboard magazine had an article about this, how Miguel, the R&B star, leads his entire entourage through the sixth phase meditation before getting on stage. Camilla Hansen, who is Miss Sweden, introduced six phase to the entire Miss Universe circuit because she found that it helped her heal her skin, plus gave her confidence. Tony Gonzalez, he's one of the top 100 footballers in the United States. He said in multiple interviews that he does the six phase because it helps him on the field. Bianca Andreescu was the 16-year-old Romanian girl who started the six phase. She actually attended a class on the six phase in Toronto when she was 16 years old. And she took some of these ideas and started putting it in her life. Her goal was to win the US Open tennis championships. 3 years later, she won. And when they asked her, what did you do? You beat Serena Williams. She said, where's my phone? Where's my phone? And she held up my book. She was a graduate of a class on the six phase. And this gentleman, I want to play this video for you. Let me know if you can hear the sound, okay?
Yeah.
This gentleman approached me at an event I was speaking at and listen to his story.
Hi, so I'm Mark Scott. I'm CEO of Bella and Duke, Chief Emotions Officer, and in Mindvalley 4 years ago, and working with my own meditation, my own wellness, and a lot of the things that Vishen's implemented through Mindvalley, especially the six phases of meditation. I found it amazing. And within 4.5 years, we've built a business close to 100 million in the UK.
100 million. So 100 million revenue business in 4 years. The company is called Bella and Duke, okay? And he started Mindvalley around 4 years before that. Six phase is what he started doing. Random guy. Look how humble he is, right? I love it about Mindvalley people. His company is doing 100 million. It's one of the hottest new pet brands in the UK and Europe. It's called Bella and Duke, and he's the founder. Okay, so let's talk about the six phase. Now, there are 6 protocols that you do in the six phase. In my research in spirituality, in human potential, I believe that there are 6 things that we need to elevate in our life to perform at our peak. Okay, now in order, no particular order, here are the 6. Compassion, gratitude, feeling of peace. These 3, compassion, gratitude, and peace, are present states. In my work, I like to talk about this concept called the Buddha and the badass. To truly master life, it's not about just becoming spiritual. So many people ask me, Vishen, I want to get spiritual. I want to explore spirituality. Are there any retreats you recommend? Anything that I can travel to, maybe in Thailand, maybe in Bali? And I said, listen, these are great places to visit, but it doesn't mean you're going to get spiritual. Spirituality is not checking into an ashram and retiring from the world. It's not going within and deciding that there's nothing more for you outside the world. Spirituality is a combination of both. It is the Buddha and it is the badass. It is mastering yourself, but then using that self-mastery to go out there and shake and rattle the world. The great philosopher Ken Wilber, who's one of our Mindvalley teachers, said, the great spiritual sages of the world, from Moses to Jesus to Padmasambhava, were not feeble-minded milquetoast. They were movers and shakers who rattled the world with the force of their ambition. And so you got to combine both. You need the Buddha, which is self-mastery, and you need the badass, which is to go out there and rattle the world. Jesus brought a bullwhip to the temple. Muhammad subdued entire continents. Even Buddha started a revolution to shift the disparity between the rich and poor in his country. All great spiritual teachers were not passive, boring, feeble wimps. They were out there and they were forces of nature. Mother Teresa fed 1 million people. She was not just a nun. So keep that in mind. Now, the 6 phase is designed to bring you up in terms of Buddha and badass. And I want you to remember this. Compassion, gratitude, peace. These are Buddha qualities. These relate to present state. But the next 4 phases, vision, control, and support, these are future qualities, qualities of the badass. Vision means having a vision for your life. Control means feeling that you're empowered, you're in control of your life. And support means feeling supported by God or a higher power. These are the qualities of the badass. When you can combine both, you absolutely rock the world. So the 6 phase is something you can do in the morning. It's something you can do in the evening. And there are so many different nuances about it, but it's basically a stacked meditation system. So a lot of people think meditation is just quieting your mind and it's going within, and that's fine. That's mindfulness, and there are huge benefits there, but that is a very ineffective form of meditation. Just like there are ineffective forms of exercise, there are ineffective forms of meditation. And what I'm excited about is effectiveness. That means my spirituality and mastering myself. I want to do that. I want to know what's going to give me the biggest bang in the littlest amount of time. And if you think about it, people go, wait, Vishen, you're trying to make spirituality productive? Heck yeah. How busy are you guys? Do any of you have time to meditate for an hour or 2 hours a day? I know people who go to Vipassana retreats, they sit in silence for 12 days, they come back and they are told you need to meditate for 2 hours a day. None of them do it. In fact, I don't even recommend Vipassana retreats. I don't think that's spiritual. I think that's a waste of time. Spirituality is not checking yourself into an ashram and resigning from the world. Remember the words I started this event with. I quoted Esther Hicks. I quoted Neil Donald Walsh, 2 of the greatest modern spiritual teachers. Spirituality is about your spirit in human form, playing in the human plane in the greatest possible way. It is about falling in love. It is about building businesses. It's about being creative. It's about bringing love and joy to other people. It's about transforming other people. It is not about resigning from the world. It is about embracing the world, tasting the world, and making the world better because you have mastered yourself. Is that clear? So no, you do not need to go to a retreat outside your country or sit in silence for 12 days, and you do not need to meditate for more than 20 minutes. Please do not meditate for more than 20 minutes, because I need you spending some of that other extra time you have ensuring that your loved ones are taken care of, spending time with your kids, making love to your lover, exercising, reading books, exploring the world. Anyone who tells you spend an hour a day exercising or an hour a day meditating is a single-minded personal growth teacher who doesn't understand that we are multidimensional beings, and we are not just body, we're not just soul, we are really complex, and we will need to allocate time equally to different aspects of personal growth. Okay, so this is why the 6 phase is about maximum effect in minimal time. First 3 phases, present, Buddha. Phases 4, 5, 6, future, badass. Now, let's go into the first phase, right? Compassion. So compassion is one of the most important qualities in the world. I was just watching a YouTube video by Robert Grant, the philosopher, and he said something really interesting that really hit me today. You see, I was feeling very grumpy coming from Dubai to Estonia, because in Dubai, everyone is so friendly. Customer service is great. Everyone is so nice to each other in Dubai. The rich and the poor, everyone just mingle. They talk. It is beautiful to see. And then I come to Estonia, and I love Estonia. Nothing against Estonia. It's cold here. Maybe it's because the weather is bad. Maybe it's because we only have 4 hours of sunlight a day. But everyone is grumpy. I go to a cafe and the waiters, the baristas treat me like I bothered them. And I'm just thinking, gosh, everyone here is so mean. And Robert Grant said something today that hit me. He said, whatever irritates you about the world, whatever you condemn about the world, you will simply attract more of it. So don't condemn. And that led to another memory of another philosopher, Sri Kumar Rao. And Sri Kumar Rao, who is the great MBA teacher, he's a teacher in Mindvalley, he said this. He said, every time I walk into a cafe and someone is rude to me, or I'm in an Uber and the Uber driver is rude to me, I play a little game. I tell myself, ooh, this is so much fun. I'm going to make them smile. And I turn it into a game. Rather than get irritated about it, I turn it into a game. And when I do that, my whole frame of reference changes. And you know what? I almost always figure out how to make them smile. This leads to compassion. You see, when I talk about the sixth phase, people tell me, Vishen, this seems too simplistic. Can you just get to the manifesting part? I want to know how to manifest wealth, how to manifest the love of my life. And I got to explain, no, manifesting is not, if manifesting was that easy, we'd all be doing it. There's a rhythm to it. And the first rhythm is radiating love. And radiating love means understanding that everyone who might be rude to you or mean to you is simply a human being who has forgotten what they really are. Neil Donald Walsh, in Conversations with God, a book I'm reading right now, which is why I'm going to be quoting it a lot, said, the spiritual master doesn't get irritated by anyone. The spiritual master is nice. He understands that we are all one, that we are all particles of God experiencing ourselves, that the barrier between me and you is actually non-existent. But the spiritual master knows that for God to experience himself or herself, God has to forget who she is. And this is why some people are in human beings that might be petty or jealous or rude or mean. The spiritual master doesn't judge, for everything is God. Now, the compassion practice in the sixth phase is designed to remind us of this. So there are many ways you can do a compassion practice. Neil, for example, in his books, he cites a very interesting practice that he suggests that everyone do. I did this once when I was living in New York. Walk the streets, and every time you see something that bugs you, tell yourself, there I go again. There I go again, being a loud, annoying, rude man on the subway. There I go again, being a smelly, drunk, homeless person passed out on the street. No judgment. But you tell yourself, there I go again. And when you do this, and I challenge you, do this for 1 hour, just roam the streets or for a day as you're going through your day to day, you will start feeling a deep sense of connection with everyone, with every human being. And if you can practice this consistently, that judgment will disappear. So tomorrow, I know if I go into the usual cafes in Tallinn and people are rude, people are mean, people don't look me in the eye, sometimes I experience a little bit of racism because I'm a dark-skinned person in a country where everyone is like blonde and blue-eyed. I'm just going to play a little game with them. I'm going to make them smile. That is the essence of compassion. Now, you can train compassion. I've given you a number of different ideas, but one of the most powerful ways is in the morning, you start your meditation with compassion. So to activate compassion, simply see the face of someone you love. I like to see my daughter and my son. As soon as I see their faces, my heart fills with love. Give that love a color and then breathe in, breathe out. And every time you breathe in and breathe out, you expand that love, first filling your body, then filling your room, filling your apartment complex and beaming to all your neighbors, then going out to the city you're in, the country you're in, the continent you're in, and eventually the entire world. You end the practice with seeing this light of your love covering the entire earth. And I promise you, when you do this, what happens is that you gain a beautiful feeling of appreciation for life and who you are, and you become unfuckwithable. If you're familiar with that word, to be unfuckwithable means no negativity can touch you because you are so sure of who you are. And the greatest shield to negativity is to beam love. And that's how you start the sixth phase. This first protocol Can you guess how long it takes? Literally 2 minutes. Okay, now again, there are so many different layers to it. There are so many nuances to it. Actually, people who complete a Mindvalley life coaching certification, they also get a bonus certification where they get to teach the 6 phase. And many people go and they teach it in companies, in organizations, in schools. So you get, you learn to teach the 6 phase as well. Okay, but that is compassion. I've trained my kids to do this. So my kids are like the nicest kids. They're just so compassionate. But when you practice this, you never again forget who you really are. And who you really are is a particle of God on a planet with 8 billion other particles of God here, remembering who you are through experiencing the human plane. Now that brings us to phase 2, which is gratitude. So gratitude is very related to compassion. Gratitude is about appreciating what you have. And Lynn Twist, the brilliant woman who wrote The Soul of Money, said, what you appreciate appreciates. If you want to know the secret of manifesting, do you guys really want to know that? Do you want to know how to manifest money? How to manifest love? You have to remove want. So Neil Donald Walsh in Conversations with God said this: when you tell we are gods, and because we are particles of God, we are blessed with the creative power of God. Literally every single thought you put out there is going out into the universe and pulling in new thoughts. You are constantly manifesting and manifesting and manifesting. And the reason why so many of us don't really get what we want is not because we are not able to manifest, but because we are thinking about thoughts in the wrong way. We get obsessed with wants. I want money. I want love. But the universe doesn't work that way. You see, the universe is like a giant mirror. It doesn't give you what you want. It doesn't give a damn what you want. If you say, I want money, all you create is that feeling of wanting of money, that desire for money that you do not have. But the universe, as a mirror, will simply reflect back to you who you are. If you say, I'm so grateful for the money I have, and I'm going to live in abundance, you gain abundance. So Neil, in one of his talks, says this: most people try to manifest in this way, right? They think a thought, and then they say the word, and then they do the deed. So thought, word, deed. So they want to go to a party. They think, I want to go to a party. Then they'll say the word. Hey, Bob, let's go to this party. Then they do the deed. They go to the party. But he says to manifest, you flip that around. It's deed, word, thought. So he says, you want to manifest money, even if you only have $5 to your name. And Neil knows what he's talking about because he was a homeless man. He was literally homeless in Oregon, in Ashland, Oregon, before he wrote the book. He said, you start with the deed. You have $5, go get change, get it into $1 notes. Go out and give out $1 to a homeless person. Keep 4 for yourself. Act in abundance. Do the deed that a wealthy person will do. And then go to the word. I appreciate the money I have. I'm generous with the money I have. And then you develop the thought, I am abundant. When you flip that around, that's when you start manifesting. That's when you start attracting what you want. You want love, give love. You want money, give money. Neil Donald Walsh is very right on this aspect. But the secret, a simpler way of understanding this, is merely gratitude. And so when you practice gratitude in the 6th phase, what you're literally doing is expressing gratitude for every little thing you have, no matter how small it is. You have $5 to your name. You're grateful for that, and you appreciate it. You are lonely, but there's a bird that comes and sits on your windowsill for a few minutes every day. You appreciate the bird for breaking the monotony of your loneliness. You appreciate every little thing. And when you can do that, what comes to you will give you more and more and more to appreciate. Just like if you want something, you will be stuck in that cycle of want. When you appreciate something, you get stuck in a cycle of appreciation. And a cycle of appreciation is a damn good cycle to be in. because appreciation starts growing. And for the appreciation to grow, more and more and more starts coming to you. So that is gratitude. So in the sixth phase, you think about three things you're grateful for in your personal life, three things you're grateful for in your career, your work life, and three things you're grateful for about yourself. Why do I add that final category? Because many people are really unable to express gratitude for themselves. They believe it's narcissism. If I go, wow, I'm so grateful that I have a nice butt. I'm so grateful that I have this incredible hair, right? People think, oh my God, what a narcissist. But no, you need to be grateful for yourself. So be appreciative for yourself. So the three things are, it's called 3x3 gratitude. Three things about your personal life, your family, your children, your pets, three things about your work, the people you work with, the income you get, the office you work in, your boss, three things about yourself, your body, your mindset, your generosity. Now, this brings us to the third part. Now, the third part is a little bit more complex. This one we're going to skim over really fast. The third part is peace through forgiveness. And this is where you actually practice forgiveness. Forgiveness is like a muscle. Forgiveness is the ability to forgive anything that you did in the past to yourself that you're still carrying with you. Forgiveness is also the act of forgiving what other people have done to you, the trauma, the abuse. One of the fastest ways to rid yourself of trauma, to heal any type of negative belief that you're carrying with you, is to forgive others and to forgive yourself. So in phase 3 of the sixth phase, you practice forgiveness. But one of the most interesting things about forgiveness, again in the words of Neil, is this: the master doesn't need to forgive. For the master understands. Meditate on that. The master does not need to forgive, for the master understands. What it means is that as you practice forgiveness, you develop a deep understanding of sadness, of badness, of people who are hurting. And you start to see that they are merely other souls who have not hit perhaps the level of remembrance of true nature that you have. As you move towards being a master, little things stop bugging you as much. You develop a greater understanding for other people. If people hurt you, you're able to forgive and thus pull out that arrow, destroy that arrow, and stay strong while still beaming love to them. Jesus said, if someone strikes you on the cheek, turn the other cheek. The master understands. The master knows that we are all playing a game and nothing can truly hurt you. And the people who try are simply people who have forgotten who they really are. Neil sums it up nicely. I've sent you nothing but angels. So these are the first 3 phases of the 6th phase, right? And now the forgiveness protocol that we teach is actually a science-based forgiveness protocol. It really helps you shed anger and regret, but it's too complex to teach within the context of this. You'll learn it if you are a Mindvalley certified coach. You'll learn it in the book. You can take the 6th phase course on Mindvalley. Now, to summarize those 3 things, I want to read you actually. This is one of my favorite calendars. I have this on my desk. It is from Hay House, really, and it is the Esther Hicks calendar. Now, this is the perfect quote for you to step into phase 4. And the quote is this. So Esther Hicks wrote the book Law of Attraction. The movie The Secret was based on her book. And the quote is this. This is the quote for Jan 29, which is tomorrow. It is our desire. R is the spiritual entity speaking to her. Think of it as the universe. It is the universe's desire that you become one who is happy with that which you are and with that which you have. That's gratitude. While at the same time being eager for more. And that's the vision phase that we're going to go to stand on the brink of what is coming, feeling eager, optimistic, anticipation, with no feeling of impatience, doubt, or unworthiness hindering the receiving of it. This is the science of deliberate creation at its best. Did you guys get the profound wisdom there? It is our desire that you become one who is happy with that which you are and with that which you have, while at the same time being eager for more. That is the optimal creative vantage point, to stand on the brink of what is coming, feeling eager, optimistic anticipation with no feeling of impatience, doubt, or unworthiness hindering the receiving of it. That is the science of deliberate creation at its best. What Esther Hicks is saying is that the universe's desire for you is to be grateful, appreciative of where you are right now. That's where compassion comes in, beaming love, being grateful, forgiving, because you know no one can truly hurt you at a deeper level. And as you stand on that brink of this optimal creative vantage point, you are eager for more. And that is the next three phases, phase 4, 5, and 6. So what is phase 4? Phase 4 is being eager for more. Esther Hicks says our point of being human is to create rockets of desire, to look at our world and constantly desire more. Now, this is the opposite of conventional spirituality, and I don't like conventional spirituality. Conventional spirituality says, give it up. Don't ask for more. I think we've misunderstood that. What they meant by don't ask for more really was a mistranslation of be appreciative and grateful. But Esther Hicks, Neil Donald Walsh, they all say this: desire. You're here to experiment with desire. Neil says desire sex, desire fame, desire money, desire glory, desire power. That's why you're here, to be the best damn human being you can be. But as you go through those desires, remember that you and everyone else around you are one. Remember the value of unity, and seek to also give these same things to other people. Esther Hicks says something similar. She says, we become spiritual beings, choose to get reincarnated as human, to experiment with desire, to want and create and manifest. So she says, go out there in the world and desire, 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 desire. Now, as you bring those desires together, maybe you have goals, maybe you have a life book, maybe you do the 3 most important questions. What you do in phase 4 is you sit in your space of meditation and you visualize yourself 3 years out with those desires. So 3 years out, I want to build a Mindvalley hotel. So I might see that. Maybe for you, it might be you have a dream home that you want to move into. Maybe you want to be in a gorgeous, delicious relationship. Maybe you want kids. Maybe you want to be able to take a dream vacation and see that beautiful sunset that you've only seen in Instagram reels. Whatever that desire is, every single day, pick one of those desires, stand on the brink and embrace it. Visualize it. Spend 3 minutes on it. If you are seeing that beach holiday, feel the sand under your feet. Just pretend. Imagine the wind. See the sunset. See yourself holding the hand of Mr. or Mrs. Wright, who's maybe on that vacation with you, even if you've never met them yet. Feel the pina colada in your hand, the coolness of the glass, the coconutty taste of the pina colada. Make it as real as possible and act as if it's already coming to you. That's the secret. Now, the funny thing about what you're doing here, creative visualization, is while the first few times you do it, you may have this doubt in your mind going, this isn't going to happen. The more you do it, the more you start to believe, because you're actually engaging in a form of deep self-hypnosis. The more you see great things coming, the more you start to believe great things are possible. And the more these great things start to come. Remember that case study I shared, right? That Bianca Andreescu, the Romanian tennis player, she visualized herself winning the US Open. And she made that happen. 3 years later, at the age of 19, she literally beat Serena Williams. And so you want to be able to really fine-tune this quality of visualization. So when you do the 6 phase, each time, pick one and go deep. Now, some people may ask me, do you have to come back to the same visualization? You can, but you can also pick something different. Desires never stop. And so you want to constantly create desires. But remember, desires are only bad if you are so focused on your desires that you forget to appreciate the now. But if you're able to appreciate the now and be in gratitude, then you can expand your scope of desires infinitely and desire more and more and more. And there's nothing wrong with that. As long as you are rooted in gratitude, you understand compassion, so you love everyone. Your desires are not subtracting from our planet. And third, you have practiced forgiveness, because once you practice forgiveness, a side effect is you are unable to harm another person. Because every time you harm another person, all hurt people hurt people. When you remove your hurt, you also lose your ability to hurt others. So when you stack those three together, compassion, gratitude, forgiveness, that is when you become a manifesting machine. So many of us feel guilty about manifesting. Do I really deserve? Isn't it selfish? I mean, if I'm rich, what are all those things they say about rich people? Do I really, should I really be craving all of that sex? Should I really be craving all of that money? Should I really want to have a sexy body? Should I really want to be able to go on that vacation when my neighbors just lost their job? And all of these are legitimate things. Congratulations, it means you have a heart. But that's why when you can operate with the first three pillars, you open yourself up to proper manifesting. And again, the first three pillar is compassion, so you will not hurt someone else. Gratitude, so you're in a state of appreciation and bliss, standing at the vantage point of desire in a positive state. And forgiveness, so there's no more hurt, because hurt people hurt people. Hitler, for example, one of the most cruel people out there, Hitler was deeply hurt. If you read his biography, all the most vile, evil murderers in history, I'm a big history buff, all went through crazy amounts of hurt. Forgiveness removes that. Okay, so now you're standing at phase 4, the vantage point of ultimate desire. You're seeing your life 3 years out, and now you come to phase 5. Phase 5 is the perfect day. Phase 5 is the realm of action. And in phase 5, this is what you're doing. In phase 5, you see yourself taking baby steps in the next 24 hours to make your desires so. So, for example, let's say you want to have that dream vacation. Maybe a baby step is you get on kayak.com and check airfare and figure out how you're going to save up for it. Maybe you Google and try to find the right hotel. Maybe you want to take that vacation with Mr. or Mrs. Right. Get in a dating app or go out to a party and figure out how to meet people. So phase 5 is about the perfect day. It's about seeing your day unfold step by step by step. Now, Esther Hicks sparked this idea. In 2008, I went to San Diego to attend an event by Esther Hicks, wonderful lady. And she spoke about this concept she called segment intending. She said, one of the most useful exercises you can do is to see your day that's about to unfold in segments of an hour each, and see every one of those segments, day, step by step by step, unfolding perfectly. You wake up, you take a shower, you jump into work, the coffee tastes good, you are focused on your job, you have your early morning scrum, everyone is in a good mood, people are sharing great ideas, you are connecting with your teammates, you have a beautiful lunch, and then you have a 2-hour brainstorm and so many ideas emerge, but you're pre-declaring all of this. Your commute home, great songs are playing on the radio, absolutely no traffic, you reach home, and there's this incredible dinner waiting for you. Your children or your family or your friends are there, and you're just engaged in the most amazing conversation. You stay back and you sit back with loved ones, watch this beautiful movie on Netflix that fills you with so much inspiration and joy. Before going to bed, you watch a few minutes of a Mindvalley quest, or you read a favorite book. You pre-plan your day and declare how your day is going to unfold. And when you do this, something really magical happens. You are playing with the power of intention. And even if something goes wrong in your day, you're less likely to notice the wrongness, and you'll notice everything that went well. It's just how the brain works. When you do your segment intending in phase 5, and you say, when I have lunch today, the restaurant is going to be amazing. I'm going to enjoy the food. Conversation with my coworker is going to be so exciting. And we're going to come up with so many ideas for the project we have to deliver tomorrow. Now, you go to the restaurant and they mess up your order, or your coworker is feeling a little bit down. You're less likely to notice that. You will notice the things you chose to declare you are going to experience great ideas, good ambiance. Your brain is repatterning. And as a result, even if the experience could have been sucky, you don't get pulled into a negative spiral. You pull up and you become a force for elevating other people as well. So this is called segment intending. It's actually one of the most powerful spiritual practices you can do. Now, Esther Hicks, you know why I really like segment intending? Esther Hicks says, even if you are by nature, you've gone through suffering, you are negative, you have failed at manifesting, segment intending will still work if you play a little game. If you don't believe you can declare how your day is going to unfold, play a little game called Wouldn't It Be Nice? Wouldn't it be nice if my commute was great today? Wouldn't it be nice if my boss was nice to me? Wouldn't it be nice if at that meeting I didn't feel so shy and I said something that people appreciated? Just play the wouldn't it be nice game. And the more you play it, the more you train your brain to appreciate, to intend, to mold reality. And as reality molds for you, you become better and better at believing yourself. And as your belief grows, your constructions of reality expand. Now we come to the final one, which is support. And support is really easy. It's when you look up at a higher power or God, and you simply say this: God, universe, higher power, Jesus, Allah, whatever you believe, I've shared compassion with the world. I have been grateful for everything you've given me. I've forgiven my enemies. I've shared a vision of how I want life to unfold 3 years out. I have declared how I'm going to practice being the best version of myself today. Now I ask for your blessing. And that's phase 6. Phase 6 is simply called a blessing. Okay? And boom, you've wrapped up the 6th phase. And this is why this practice is so powerful. Now, someone said, Vishen, why do you live in Estonia? It's because I'm a very loyal father. I'm divorced. My former wife is Estonian. She's an incredible woman. Her book, by the way, Flawsome, was #1 in the Wall Street Journal, Christina. And we have kids together. And when I married Christina, she sacrificed her career to move to New York to be with me. And after we got divorced, I told her, listen, I'm going to be wherever the kids are. So now you get to choose. And she chose to go back to her home country, Estonia. My children, I wanted them growing up in their culture, learning the language. And so while Estonia isn't the best place for me for now, I choose to be here 6 months of the year, at least, so I can be close to my kids and I can honor the promise to my ex-wife. That's why I'm here. Because I know that if I'm in the right frame, I could be anywhere in the world, but I control my reality. So this is how the 6th phase works. Now we come to the last 5 minutes. If you guys have any questions, I would love for you to put it in the Q&A. Okay. So I'm seeing so many comments come in. I can't even read the questions, guys. Try putting the question in the Q&A. Thank you. I'm just loving the comments I'm seeing. This is beautiful. Ajit, are you ready to come back on? So
yes,
thank you.
I'm here, Jen.
So
Yes.
let's go to Ajit, okay? We'll answer questions towards the end. So Ajit, are you ready for the next part of our presentation?
Absolutely. I'm ready and excited.
Okay, so what we want to do now, guys, is as we've come, Ajit, do you want to say a few words to wrap up?
Well, thank you so much, first of all, for sharing 6 phase meditation. It's always great to kind of re-listen, even if you practice and you kind of heard the presentation many times. So many golden nuggets every single time. So I'm sure everybody in the chat is also super grateful. Super grateful for everybody who has stuck around. This is almost 3 hours without a break, you all. So congratulations to you for sticking through all of this and having so many transformation. I was reading the comments while Vishen was presenting, reading the comments as Vishen was presenting. And I'm so grateful that all of you, or most of you, was able to share some great transformations that you are having right now as you're attending this event. Now, this can continue and this should continue. That's how life is designed to be. We are designed to be growth-centered individuals who are constantly evolving and finding the next version of us, the next growth area of us. And for that invitation, Vishen, I'll give the mic back to you.
Perfect. Okay, so what I want to do, guys, is I want to give you a quick presentation on Mindvalley certified coaching program. It's a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful thing. Many of you guys are waiting for this, and we want to invite you to actually become a Mindvalley certified coach. Now, this presentation is really interesting. Even if you've never thought about being a coach, take a look at it anyway, because I think there's a lot that you're going to learn. And by the way, if you stay till the end of this presentation, we have a free gift for you. And this will take about half an hour. Okay. So how long have we been together, Ajit? I think we've been delivering this webinar for 3 hours now.
Yep, we have been here for 3 hours. Yes.
3 hours. So how was it for you guys?
I read a funny comment. We're like, thank God I'm not on camera because I peed with my laptop in my lap. This is kind of funny.
That's okay. So how has this been for you? I want you to type in your best insight, one of your biggest insights in the chat. Okay, because this will be really fun to read later. You stopped time. WOA, WOA. Ajit, what does WOA mean?
Woe is a term that I call for myself or any human being. It's work of art, which is basically you and I and everybody is a piece of work, and we are constantly evolving. There is no point where we are complete. We are an ever-evolving work of art. This is a way we acknowledge that today we learned something and something we anchored into ourselves to say, this was a masterstroke to the beautiful painting that I am already.
Beautiful. So I'm seeing a lot of interesting there. Work of art, revive my deep desire, Buddha versus badass, empowering, segment intending, Qigong exercise was amazing. It was all great. A work of art, desire is fantastic. I love that. I really love to remind you guys of that paradigm. Excellent. The meditation, work of art, 3 suggestions from Ajit, wonderful, Buddha and badass. Thank you, learned a lot. I'm becoming who I was 10 years ago when I was my best self, but stopped when life presented challenges that I gave into. So thank you guys. Now, what if you want to go further, right? So we have Mindvalley membership. And I'm sure you guys heard the big news. Mindvalley was so successful last year because of your belief in us, because of our members. While many companies raised prices, Netflix raised prices, Disney raised prices for their subscription, we dropped our price by $100. And everyone who bought Mindvalley last year, this year when you renew, we are lowering your renewal price by $100 because we did so well. We want to be able to give back and lower our prices so that Mindvalley can be even more affordable to other people. And so Mindvalley membership is wonderful. That's a great way to learn. But if you guys enjoyed this style of learning directly with me and Ajit, we want to talk about what will it take where we can work with you for 4 months and turn you into the best version of yourself, where you master yourself, but also you learn the tools and the protocols to help transform other people. And this is what Mindvalley Life Coach Certification is all about. So Mindvalley Life Coach Certification is an actual certification. It's called Certified Life Coach. It's a 16-week immersion to acquire the skills of self-mastery and transforming life. So if you enjoyed this, imagine going through this type of transformation around 3 hours every week for 16 weeks. Now, it won't be a single 3-hour block. It'll be 2 segments or 3 segments. You learn, well, we'll show you the breakdown later, but 3 hours a week is definitely doable for everyone, given the following statistic. The statistic is this: the average Westerner, whether you're Australia, Japan, Europe, America, I guess even today, this term applies to pretty much most of the world, spends 3 hours a day on social media and television. So we're asking for 3 hours a week without Instagram, without Facebook, without YouTube, without Netflix, but focusing on growing yourself so you can make more money, you can have more joy, you can have more fun, you can have more love, and you can uplift others. So this is what this 16-hour immersion is about. You master yourself, but then you get to master each other. Okay, now stay till the end because I'm going to give you a free gift that's going to really excite many of you. So Certified Life Coach is an actual certification. When you complete it, you get a cert that allows you to become a practicing coach certified by Mindvalley and accredited by other coaching accredited Ajit, what's the term? Accredited by?
They're recognized and they're accredited by EMCC and recognized by ICF for CC units.
Got it. So it's an accredited certificate. Now, it is taught primarily by Ajit. So Ajit teaches 85% of it. I teach around 10 to 15% of it, and they are facilitators as well. Now, I want to tell you why Ajit and I launched Mindvalley certifications. And you can see it, mindvalley.com/certs. I actually started out as a coach. So what happened to me was I was in Silicon Valley and I was going through crazy amounts of stress because this was 20 years ago. And 20 years ago, for those of you who were not born or don't remember, the dot-com bubble happened and it devastated Silicon Valley. Companies went under. Remember pets.com, it exploded. Amazon, Google, all the stock tanked. And I remember April 2001, 14,000 people lost their jobs. I was in Silicon Valley. I lost the $30,000 I'd borrowed from my father, and I ended up completely devastated. I couldn't fix the brakes in my car. So I was driving around in a beat up car because I didn't have proper brakes. I crashed into a minivan. And I realized how awful my life was because that minivan was carrying two young kids. I had to pay for the damage to the minivan. I had to figure out how to get my brakes fixed. And now I owed $6,000, which I didn't have to the insurance company. I wasn't even able to afford rent. I was sleeping on a friend's couch, a nice friend who had lent me his couch for $200 a month. That was the situation I was in. So what happened was I decided to apply for every job I could. And one of those jobs, I was a job in sales. And I sucked at sales because I was a computer engineer. So I took a class called Silver Ultramind, well, which right now sits on Mindvalley. That class transformed me. And they said, hey, we are training coaches. So I said, this has transformed me so much. In 4 months, I went from broke to becoming vice president of sales of a startup that had just emerged in San Francisco. And I stayed with that company for 18 months, but then I lost the fulfillment of my job and I decided I wanted something more. So Silva was looking to train coaches and I decided to become a Silva coach. And so I got trained, I became a coach, and then I had to build this, I had to teach the Silva class, and that is the room I was teaching the classes in. By this time, I'd moved to New York. So this was at the Holiday Inn on 59th Street. I was teaching these tiny little classes for maybe 20 people. And I'd make good money. I teach a class for 2 days. I made $3,000. That's about $6,000 in today's money, but I was fulfilled. And it allowed me to quit my day job. So my day job was 20 days a month, and I was making $7,500. But as a coach, I could make not 7.5, but I could make around $3,000 to $4,000. Again, we're talking about 2003 money in 2 days. And that was a really, really big thing for me because after I could free myself from the shackles of a day job, I could think, okay, how do I grow this? How do I expand this? Because I, at that point, only had to work 2 days a month. And so the next idea came. I built a website and I started selling Silva CDs. And that website was under a company called Mindvalley. And that is how Mindvalley started. So the first step was I was able to free myself from the shackles of a job that I didn't like to become a coach, a facilitator. Now I was making far more per hour. I wasn't making more overall than being a VP of a .com, but I was making more per hour. But now I had free time, and that free time allowed me to innovate, and I could go deeper and deeper and deeper into my passion, which was meditation. Eventually, that led to Mindvalley. So I started out as a coach, and I believe I'm so glad and grateful that the next evolution of Mindvalley is to train coaches. When Ajit and I became business partners, I recognized Ajit's skill at being able to become a world-class trainer of coaches. Ajit, how many coaches have you trained thus far?
I've trained about 6,600 coaches at this point, directly under a certification wing, but I've trained many more in different capabilities as programs.
100. And then through other Mindvalley coaching programs, I bet it goes up to around 12,000.
Yeah.
With Paul McKenna and so on. So coaching is the skill of tomorrow. It allows you to master yourself. So one of the reasons I became a Silva instructor is I really wanted to go deep with intuitive understanding, with meditation. And Silva allowed me to do it. Eventually, I wrote 3 best-selling books, but it was because I mastered myself. And then I wanted to bring these skills to other people, to transform other people. Coaching is a $20 billion industry right now, and it's still growing because the latest evolution of coaching is that companies are bringing coaches into the workplace. So coaching is for you if you're finding yourself disconnected from your life's purpose, and if you're in a career that is not fulfilling. Now, here's what a couple of other of our students have said. Maria Paula Gutierrez said, it's for you if you're looking to make a positive change in your life. She found new tools, new paths to follow her heart to achieve her purpose. Bia Marie Anning said coaching, because of the confidence she gained, She was able to gain 4 clients, land 2 speaking gigs, and make an impact in people's lives. And so when you go through this transformation with myself and Ajit, not only do you transform, but you gain the skills to transform other people. Again, 16-week immersion. Okay, now Ajit is going to tell you about this. These are the 4 pillars of how we design Mindvalley Certified Coach over the 16 weeks. Ajit?
Thank you. So you kind of experienced these 4 pillars through the entire day today as I was presenting the 1-hour section where I took you through these 4 segments. Now, of course, it was only 1 hour. I had to really squeeze. I had to limit the number of tools. The Qigong that you really appreciate is one of the many things for you to get really present. The organizing of your thoughts in a particular way is a really deep, immersive experience that we do. But for now, I had to contain it into a 10-minute presentation. The HITS model is just one of the many models for you to really engineer your body and your habits to be able to create the greatest outcomes in your life. The 20x presentation, the 20x way of thinking about yourself is just one of the ways where we get you to stay connected and create connectedness between you and your higher self for you to be able to design and live a purposeful life. So all of those 4 segments, you got a little taste of. They are the fundamental elements that we have found has created transformation for thousands and thousands of people in the world. And this is one of those foundations that if you want to help anybody, you use the same 4 models. They don't have to be in any particular order because people come in at different points. They cannot get so present. They sometimes need to first on their bioengineering. And so you start there. Sometimes they are so lost on purpose that they have to start with purpose. But it is wildly powerful to stay on these 4 pillars as you experienced today. And a lot of you commented how that was really valuable for you. We take an immersion on these 4 pillars across the 16 weeks. Now, here's the thing. Everything that you experienced, even the reframes, even the whole conversation around standards, is a function of these 4 pillars. So these 4 pillars, presence, is about understanding how to really be in the now, in this moment, understanding the power of this moment and getting really present and being in the presence of what is. Organizing your mind is about really working with your thoughts and choosing the ones that are the most empowered versions of you and the most empowered thoughts of you. Bioengineering is about taking ownership of your body and your habits and your behaviors to create that thought, those intellectual capabilities that we build into physical realities. And connectedness is the understanding of you and your connection to the greatest power. However you want to pursue it, there's nothing religion about this. It is just you being connected with your own self and being able to create from that place. Back to you, Vishen.
Okay.
And because of that,
sorry, Ajit, please continue.
I was just saying, and because of that, you get to have all of these skills, and these skills stay with you for life. Like even the things that you learn today, if you choose to continue to pursue them, it'll stay with you for your whole life. What I find is a lot of people who do this class with us, if they join us for the certification program, they really get honed in and tied in to these 4 functions and 6 phase. And so they get to have a skill that can give them an alternate career in their life. And they'll probably share case studies. I also shared some stories with you of individuals that joined the program just as something that they wanted to do for themselves, but then ended up building a part-time career out of it and generating a decent income out of that. You also have a possibility of a full-time career. I was sharing the story of Julie, who, yes, was a coach before, but then she really made it a full-time career because she's making anywhere between $10,000 to $30,000 a month, which is incredible as a coach. It's fantastic because you have all the time freedom that comes along with coaching. You also get to have a skill that even if you have no intention to be a coach, you're like, hey, listen, I don't want to do that stuff. I just want to focus on me. Absolutely a skill that you can utilize at any time in your life. It's the foundational skill that will completely transform the way you operate in the world and you operate with yourself. And you, of course, have a skill to to transform lives of people around you, be it your kids, be it your partner, be it your friends, of course, with invitation that they do want to transform their lives. But now you have the capability. You can actually be supportive and helpful to them.
Okay, so we go on to the next one. Okay, so let's talk about what do you learn as you go through these 4 months. So, by the way, guys, I'm coughing. You know what happened, Ajit? This is so funny, but just before I did my presentation, I made a beginner mistake. So I'm in Estonia, And I was born in Malaysia, guys. So I'm Malaysian, and a Malaysian restaurant opened here recently, and I just ordered Malaysian food. And Malaysian food is so damn spicy. And so my mouth has been burning for the last 1 hour. That's why I'm drinking so much water.
I hear you. I know. I love that food, and
Any
yes, it is. It is a rookie
Malaysians,
mistake.
any Malaysians in the audience? Okay, so let's talk about what you learned. Ajit, I will let you take this, okay? So month one
Oh.
is about fundamentals of coaching.
So the first month, we're going to focus on certain fundamentals. These are the principles that create the whole frame of everything else that you're going to learn. These are skills that are skills like being able to connect with someone, being able to build a rapport so you can have a real conversation with them, being able to really listen, being able to really listen, not just to respond, but to listen to really understand what's really happening for the person around you and with you, to be able to be more effective as a foundational communication skill and the presence of the human being. So when you're speaking with someone, you're actually being with them and not thinking about the next thing always, right? How many of us are guilty of kind of wanting to respond really quickly and wanting to give the right answer? Well, coaching gives you a kind of sense of patience and a slowdown. You can really get present with the person and really understand, and you can get through them a lot more effectively and be able to create results more effectively. Next slide.
These skills help you as a leader, help you as a CEO, help you in sales, help you in any type of job that requires human connection. And then we go to month two, which is elevating your clients through mastery of presence and mind.
This is where you learn how to get really present to the moment, to live in the now, to be able to really understand how that whole presence piece works. And also you learn how to start organizing your mind. How do you really create space for your clients? How do you really deal with when emotions show up? How to really be in presence of challenging emotions? So you really learn the mastery of self by getting more and more present and being in the moment instead of carrying the baggage of the past or being always fearful of the future. You really get to build that skill and capability over this second month.
And then we go to month three, which is the art and science of engineering new identities. So remember what I said earlier, the universe doesn't give you what you want. Rather, the universe reflects back to you who you are. Your identity determines what you experience in the world. Ajit?
So beautifully set that up. And that's what you got to experience also when you were choosing your favorite self in the starting of the seminar, right? There are so many parts of you that have got subdued, have been covered because of the stories of the world or your past experiences that are ready to be unraveled and unveiled, and a new discovery of self is to be made. And that is what you get to experience as you lean further into organizing your mind in the third month. And also we start the work on bioengineering, which is creating all of that mental dialogue, that old storytelling that you've done for yourself, all this while in the new versions that you're doing for yourself, and really make it as your being and start living from that place, start being from that place, and start getting into those identities. And you will see that a lot of the things that you will choose as your intentions as you join the program, a lot of these identities will become real. These are the stories of students that join in as, hey, I'm a medical worker, I'm a full-time nurse, I'm a full-time supporter, and they come into the program and say, Ajit, I can't shake it off. I am helping people, but it feels like I'm just running on a treadmill because every day feels the same and I'm not making any more money or creating more transformation, but I am helping people. And sometimes they go, it's because they have limited their identity so tight into that worker that they can't see that there is a version of them that is capable a lot more. And suddenly they're able to break out of that, create a new identity, be that person, and then they are able to create supplemental income while doing the purposeful work they were doing before, but also something new, something even more meaningful, something even more impactful.
Then we go to month four, which is transcending through connectedness. And in month four, you also master not just the sixth phase, but how to teach the sixth phase. So just like I built my career teaching Silva, you get to teach the sixth phase, facilitate it, do it in seminars, in events, in gyms, in companies. Ajit?
And that brings me to, yes, like Vishen said, firstly, really, if you're somebody who's kind of going, hey, I don't know what my purpose in life is. I don't know how to find my passion. I don't know how to find my direction in life. this month is going to be critical for you because you're going to be able to rediscover it, unveil it from within yourself, find it in the outside world, create it in the world outside, be able to learn how to facilitate for somebody else. And also, of course, you get to learn and be a trainer of six-phase meditation in a very immersive way. And when you learn it in the immersive way, yes, you may be practicing six phase, you just practice it differently, right? Because you're a master at it. You're not just listening to Vishen, you actually even understand the nuances of it, how it's getting developed. Vishen, like every time he presents six phase, it feels a little bit different. It's a little bit new. Is because he has developed it for years and years and years. And there is so much mastery that goes in it that there is no way we could communicate that over a 20-minute meditation or a 45-minute presentation, right? That takes a little bit more time. And that's what that immersion is. And that also connects you to your higher self, to your greatest self, to the infinite knowledge, wisdom, and self that you have. Now, this program is accredited in two ways. One is you're accredited as a coach as EMCC. This is the European Mentoring and Coaching Council. And then CCE units is for if you are an ICF accredited coach already, you need to maintain CCE units, and you get, for what I recall, about 80 units when you do certified life coach. So it's valuable in case you're somebody who needs to know accreditations and feel like that's really relevant to you and present to you. That's kind of the technical terms, technical use, technical organizations that accredit programs. We have taken accreditation from these two in these two capacities.
Yeah. And by the way, also keep in mind, this is a Mindvalley branded certification, right? So Mindvalley is the biggest name in spirituality and personal growth globally. And so when it says Mindvalley Certified Life Coach, that is a big deal. That is so different from any other regular certification. So the Mindvalley name carries a lot of weight. But in addition to the Mindvalley name, we have CCE and EMCC. Okay, now, that's not all. When you go certified life coach, one of the things I wanted to do was really spread the six-phase meditation. So I told Ajit, rather than make the six-phase meditation a separate coaching protocol and charging an extra $2,000 or $3,000 for it, what if we combined it and made it one? So when you become a Mindvalley certified life coach, you also get qualified to become a six-phase meditation instructor. You can teach a day-long six-phase meditation seminar and sell tickets to it. And you get the training, it's on the course, you get an extra certificate. And the six phase is one of those things that's really nice because there's a book about it. It's a best-selling book. It was in the New York Times, and it was a bestseller in both the US and internationally. And so you have that credibility, right? You can go to a company and you're no longer just a life coach. You can say, by the way, I can facilitate 7-hour event. Bring your employees in. I'm going to charge you this much, and I'm going to teach your employees self-mastery to the six phase. And the book and the training shows you how to do it in such a way where you can speak to both people who are scientific-minded, but also speak to people who deeply care about advanced spirituality. So you get that as a bonus. As a quick reminder, look at what people are saying about the six phase, right? That's Tony Gonzalez, one of the top athletes in America. That's Miguel, incredible musician, Bianca Andreescu. And now let's go on to the benefits. Why do this? What are the benefits like? So the first thing is this. You gain life and career breakthroughs. You get to design a new lifestyle for yourself of freedom and conscious intention. What do we mean by this? Well, before I became a coach, I was stuck to a job where I had to show up in an office every day. When I became a coach, I gained the ability to move anywhere. My girlfriend back then was from Europe, so I spent some time in New York, some time in Europe. I went back to Malaysia because my parents lived there. I had freedom I hadn't tasted for almost a decade, being a career person and being in university. The second thing is you get to take charge of your money, and financial freedom is at last within reach. When I was working for a company, you know what is the average salary increase per year in the United States? It's 4%. So imagine if you have a regular day job, and I'm not saying regular day jobs are bad. I have a day job as a CEO. My employees have day jobs, but the average salary increase is 4% every year. But if you can supplement that, so many people who work on my team who are employees at Mindvalley are actually also coaches, fitness coaches, life coaches, and they supplement their income. And now they have a day job that gives them security, but they're earning additional income that they get to put into savings. They get to invest. They get to build, grow and build additional businesses. But when you have that, you have control. You can grow it. You can build it. So I was able to take my coaching business and then build a business on selling meditation CDs. Then I was able to build a business generating leads for other silver coaches. And boom, 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 I was able to grow my income. But it started with taking control over your own finances, which brings us to number 3. As you learn this, you know me and Ajit, we're going to unlock abilities and potentials that you never knew you had. You are going to become the best damn version of you. And as a result, your health will improve. Your love life will improve. Your relationships will improve. Who you are as a man, as a woman, as a father, as a mother, as a brother, as a sister, as a boss, as a leader, everything elevates because you have chosen to invest in yourself. And number 4, you get to leverage this work to create a big positive impact on humanity. Now, number 5, you get to harness your passion for personal growth into a career and a mission. If you're here, you love personal growth, make that a career. And number 6, you gain a pioneering role in the future of change lives as a business. Ajit, could you explain that part?
Absolutely. So what happens is now you're getting into the business of actually changing lives. You are actually impacting people. Like, I mean, today you get to experience whatever you got to experience because Vishen one day decided to be a meditation coach. I decided to be a business coach and a life coach to people. That's where these skills really got created. And as we created these skills, we were now able to bring it to the world. Now, it's not just us. There are so many students of ours. For example, Arti, one of our students that I think I talked about before as well, she was in a job and she was doing a great job in technology, I think in Canada. And she was doing great, fantastic. Everything was great. And then she got this calling of saying, I want to be a coach. I want to learn the skill of coaching. And as she learned the skill of coaching and she coached herself, she found that the job was great, but she wasn't feeling fulfilled. So she quit the job and she started doing coaching full time. Now she gets to impact a lot more people. And this is the fun part. She was actually hired back by the same company, but now as a coach to this company. And her income more than doubled. The last report I got from her was she's likely to do 330,000 in revenue for this year in her coaching fee. That's incredible for doing something that's more freedom of time, for doing more things that are actually more congruent to them, for doing things that actually impact lives, to be able to double your income. I think that's phenomenal to be able to do meaningful work and still be able to not only make the same kind of money, but more than what you were making before. I think it's just phenomenal. I'm so grateful that this gets to happen.
Now, let's talk about how it works. So many of you are wondering, will I be able to afford this? What I'm going to tell you is this. The way we price things at Mindvalley is always extreme value, but very low price. I just mentioned how we brought down the price of Mindvalley membership by $100. And I'm basically dropping the subscription rate, even if you bought 1 year ago when it was higher, because we believe in growing our business by delivering great value and constantly bringing down the price. Mindvalley membership used to be $1,500. Now it's around, depending on the country you're in, it's $199, $299, or $399, right? What you're going to see about Mindvalley certified coaches, the price is going to shock you. It's way less. Many companies are charging 10, 12K, and they don't have the name that we have. But because we have economies of scale, we have a beautiful platform, we have a massive audience, we're actually able to deliver incredible value, but at a low price. Don't let the price deceive you, because many people I know look at our price and go, I need something more advanced, more quality. I'm like, this is it. We just keep the price low because our goal as a company is to get this brand everywhere. Okay, so the price is heavily compensated. But before we get to price, let's look at the total time, because this is important. For many of you, the time is what matters. And the total time for this is 3 hours a week, as I mentioned. Okay, 3 hours a week is doable. Now, there are 3 parts to how this works. There's a weekly training, which is 90 minutes, live Q&A, which is 90 minutes, and then coaching pods, which is 90. Now, you may be thinking, well, that's 4.5 hours. Now, 3 hours is minimum. We understand because there's Q&A, not all, you don't have to attend every Q&A, but we give you 4.5 hours a week, but 3 hours a week of showing up is what is required. Now, let's break this down into what this means, okay? So the first thing is easy to follow weekly training. These are your classes. They are pre-recorded. They are on the Mindvalley app. You can watch it on your desktop. You can watch it on your iPhone or Android device. Second, you go deeply with live weekly classrooms. This is where live teachers answer questions, and help you master the topics. Ajit, I'm going to give you room to add anything you want here.
Yeah, this is where you are with me every single week, and with Vision when it's Vision Speaks, but most of the program you're with me every single week, and I am answering questions. And right after that, you are also getting into live pods with people. This is actually live Q&A. This is basically me answering any of the questions that you have for that week's training or any training. This is also where you get to get coached by me sometimes. Right? Again, there's a container. We make sure that the questions are qualified and the people that are asking the questions have done the work a little bit, so we can actually go into deeper stuff, but more hands-on, more situational.
Great. Okay. And then next we go on to coaching pods. So coaching pods are where our students come together and work with each other to learn from each other. You're coaching each other. Ajit?
This is also you make your next best friend, because what will happen is week after week, you'll choose a coaching pod. We'll give you like 3 or 4 options to pick from based on time zones and all that type of fun stuff. I know some of you are commenting it's like 3 a.m. for you or something. So we have many different pods adhering to different time zones, and you become friends with people because you see them week after week for like 16 weeks, and you are doing one of your most deep work with them. So it's not just superficial chit chat of what's happening to the weather or anything like that. This is you doing your greatest work with this person or these group of people again and again, week after week, every single week. And so you not only just intellectually understand things, you actually practice it with yourself and with people across you. And because of that, you also create the greatest bonds. And remember, I talked about another way to up level your favorite self, or to be able to up level your standards, is to hang out with the people that will raise your standards. This is that group week after week that will raise your standards.
Okay, so by the way, I'm seeing a lot of our existing coaches commenting in the chat. Someone said, this coaching program is the most valuable thing I've ever done in my life. So thank you for that. So if you have done a Mindvalley certification, please share in the chat, right? Because we would love to have our existing students help encourage more people to do the certification. Now let's go deeper and answer your questions. What time? How do I access the content? Because we want to make sure you understand this. So weekly training is pre-recorded. It's all in an app. So you can watch this on an app. You can also watch it on your desktop. This is directly on the Mindvalley app. Now, the Q&A session with Ajit, this is 60 to 90 minutes, Ajit working directly with you. These are the times, okay? So the first call is February 12th, 2024. It's on a Monday. And the calls go all the way up to June. And the calls happen on Monday. It is 9 a.m. LA, 5 p.m. London. And this is approximately, I believe if you are in Singapore, Hong Kong, I think it's about 11 p.m. Now, I used to live in Malaysia, which is the Singapore, Hong Kong time zone. I would take my learning calls at 11 p.m. It was never really bad for me, but it's something you'd have to get used to, right? So those are the time zones for you. Now, the next one is the coaching pods. This is where you are with your team and you are teaching each other. Now, this would be, so somebody asked, what is the Dubai time? So Dubai is, I believe Dubai is 4 hours ahead of London. So 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, it'll be 9 p.m. Dubai. Okay. And then coaching pods, this is where there are different time zones because you are in groups. And so your groups could form their own time zone based on what is convenient for the area you're in. So it's we have Monday coaching pods, 10 a.m. LA, or you can join the Thursday coaching pod, which is more for people who are in Asia, in India, and that is 4 a.m. LA, it's 12 p.m. London. Now, let's look at a couple of stories. What happens when you take this? So stories of career transformation. This is what being a certified Mindvalley coach can do for your career. So I want to share a couple of beautiful case studies we have, and we have hundreds more you can see in our website. So Bia Marie Anning said the confidence she gained from this, she was already a coach, but this allowed her to add 4 more clients and land 2 speaking gigs. Speaking gigs are huge. Julie Tunador went from 10K a month to 20K a month as a coach to the goal of 30K months, and have now been experiencing 20 to 30K days. Listen to this. She went from 10K a month to 20K a month, and now she's having frequent $20,000 to $30,000 days. How? Teaching in a group at companies. And you can read the full case study.
One-on-one coaching. Julie does one-on-one coaching. And by the way, this is for people because I see a few of you What if I'm already a certified coach? The two examples that Vishen just gave were already certified coaches with other organizations. And yes, we're talking about the money and clients they got, but the big transformation that they happen, if you really read through their emails, you would go, oh, because they changed. So the first change still stays with them, but the way they transform, and these are highly qualified. Some of them have paid, I'm not saying specifically to Julie, but I have met our coaches that did $18,000 certifications and did CLC or Certified Life Coach by Mindvalley after that and said, I don't know why I paid 18 grand for this. This is so much better and so much more applicable and has changed me so much more than that $18,000 certification cost me. And I can't take the name of the institutions because that wouldn't be fair to them. But so many institutions that charge obnoxious amount of money and do not deliver on the quality and definitely do not deliver on the results. So if you have been certified, I would still consider at least looking at Mindvalley Certified Life Coach. I know I might be biased, but I'm just talking about stories there. Vishen, back to you.
So I want to share something really interesting. Someone said, how typical are these stories, right? Are these stories really typical? Are these just a few? Look, guys, if you go to stories.mindvalley.com, there are 871 case studies. So almost 20-30% of the people who have gone through this program have submitted a case study. 20-30% of the people who have gone through this program, nobody gets paid for the case studies. We're not allowed to pay. That would not be unethical. But you can browse these case studies. You can even choose by country. So let's say you're in Lithuania. Okay, we have 22 case studies just from Lithuania. So certified life coach, we have 21,000 case studies overall for Mindvalley, but this particular program, as you can see, tons and tons and tons of case studies. All right, so these are typical. Sorry, I'm not allowed to say they are typical. That's just legal. But it's very common to see this level of success from this training program. Ajit, what is the NPS score for this program?
This one's 83, I think. 83 or 84, one of those two.
Okay, so that's very important data, right? So I'm sure you guys know what NPS score. NPS score is the measure of the quality of a product. In terms of modern day products, the iPhone NPS score is 82. Tesla motor car is 95. People love their Tesla. That's gone a little bit now. And this one is what again, Ajit?
83.
83, higher than the iPhone. That means people are rating this product as better than the iPhone. And by the way, 82 was the iPhone NPS when the iPhones first came out. Anything above 50 is considered outstanding. This is in the 80s. This is testament to the quality of this program. And again, we have 800 something case studies. Okay, so this is really amazing stuff. I'm so proud of Ajit and the team for what they did here. Next, okay, this lady, within 3 weeks, she had her first $10,000 week. $10,000 week in 3 weeks. Now let's talk about stories of personal transformation, because people do this because they want to transform as well. Marina in Doha, Qatar, said she coached herself out of a depression. That is huge, changing her life. You can read the full case study. Alexis Glanville in the United States said, my businesses started flourishing. All my relationships improved. My stress and anxiety levels decreased for the first time in 2 years, and my chronic illness magically disappeared. Her illness disappeared. Again, read the full case study. This one is another great one. Okay, from Guy Dusselier in Burma, an expat in Burma. For anybody aspiring to become a life coach, become a better you, and help others achieve their dream life, this program is for you. And he goes on to write about how all the energy from the tribe helped him transform. Now, in addition to the program, there are a couple of other things that are very important. We don't want you to be coaches that don't have clients. So when you join Mindvalley Certified Life Coach, we're going to include a couple of bonuses. The first bonus already clued you on, right? You also, as a bonus for no money, get to become a 6-phase meditation coach and facilitator. But we're going to add one more bonus, and that is how to build and grow your business. So you're going to get 2 courses, how to start a coaching business, how to grow your coaching business. These are by Ajit. You watch this on your iPad or your iPhone or your Android device, and you will learn step by step how to market yourself as a coach. Ajit, you want to briefly state some of the things you teach here?
Yeah, when you get started with your coaching business, you need some fundamental answers so you can get started. That's what you get in Start Your Coaching Business. Once you get to a level and you want to start groups, you have Grow Your Coaching Business to support you in that journey.
Amazing. Okay, let's go on to the next one. Now, bonus number 2 is Build Your Coaching Business Live. So this is a live event that you'll get invited for. So if you like this event, we have a private live event, all just for our coaches, where Ajit trains you on marketing, brand building, client acquisition. Ajit?
I help you make your first plan to be able to actually go out in the world and start your coaching business. That's what you desire, to make get your first few clients, get your first few $1,000s. Actually, we laid out in a very dedicated way. And if you execute that plan, you will find your first success of coaching right at the back of your certification.
Amazing. All right, now let's go on to the next part. And we call this community bonuses. So one of the most important things for us is creating community. Community elevates us. Like-minded individuals help us rise up. In all the scientific studies on human development, whether it's happiness or longevity or even career growth, when you're surrounded by the right people, you do better. So we add a series of community bonuses to help you grow as a coach. And one of the first big bonuses is you get a $2,000 ticket to join Supercoach Live, which happens this summer in my city, Tallinn, Estonia. And Supercoach Live, hundreds of our coaches come together. And I want to show you what it's like. It's actually an amazing event. Ajit and myself are there. And it's wild. I need to play this video for you guys so you guys truly grasp how special this is. Watch. This is just 90 seconds.
There is no sound, Vishen.
I'm just going to share my screen again, guys. I think there's a little thing in Zoom I got to do to allow sound. Give me a second. Okay, we'll continue where we left off.
Hey, yeah, I'm about to shut it down. 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 I'm about to shut it down.
By the way, the trapeze artists and the people singing, those are not our coaches. That's just entertainment. Don't worry, you do not have to learn to be a circus act to be part of this group. But you can see the friendship, you can see the fun that forms from the Mindvalley community coming together. And again, this is free. This is included as a bonus. Go on to the next one. So that's literally what it looks like. Now, one of the other things is our coaches become part of a community. We're actually building our own private social network. It's going to be deploying in about a year. Because it takes a while to build, where all our coaches will be connected. You can be able to show up in Berlin or Hong Kong and you're looking for company, you can find who's available for lunch. But one of the things that we realized, and we started experimenting and people loved it, is a mark of identity that you cannot buy. You earn it. And this is the symbol. So all Mindvalley coaching certifications, we have a feather that symbolizes it. Why feather? The Mindvalley logo, have you noticed how it looks like wings? Because that logo stands for angel wings. Mindvalley is designed to help us remember the angels of our nature. But the logo and the wings also mean to elevate, to lift up. And so we use the feathers of different birds for different coaching certifications. For Mindvalley Life Coaching, it's the swan feather. So you get this pendant that you cannot buy, but if you see someone with that pendant, you know that this is a brother or a sister that has gone through the same training and will treat you like family. And so the pendants are going to be shipped out to all of you, no matter where in the world you are, when you complete the certification. And the other thing is, within a couple of months, probably 8 months after that, when we finish building the app, we have some great engineers building the app. You're going to be part of a private community where you can connect with each other and meet up in the real world. So that's coming soon as well. And if you have multiple Mindvalley certifications, you see how beautiful the pendants are when you kind of wear them together. So I'm really excited about this. I'm a pendant guy. Now, what if you could make your investment back while still in the program? So, Ajit, you want to talk about this?
Absolutely. So this is basically, if you go out in the world right now and you do some one-on-one coaching, which is very much in demand, an average 3-month program with a one-on-one coaching setting is about $2,000. Now that's on the lower end. This is not the high end. This is just, you're not super confident of being able to charge a great price for it or whatever. And you go, all right, I'm going to just start at the baseline. then you would be charging about, and we'll show you exactly how to construct this in the Start Your Coaching Business program that you get, in the live event that I do with you. And if you just get 2 clients, you will probably be able to make more than or equal to your entire fee. So that's one of the models that you could be making money as soon as you're done with the program, or while during the duration of the program. Next slide. Another one is you could start doing groups. And this is more about if you feel there's a particular model that you're already in, there's a particular kind of group that you're already in, you already are a coach, you have a few clients and you're going, I can maybe put a group together. Then, well, any group, like at a bare minimum, would be about $800 for 3 months group coaching program. You get 5 of such people and you make your entire investment back very easily, more than what your investment will be back within the frame of the first 3 months. Or if you go, hey, listen, I just want to help people learn 6-phase meditation. Well, yes, you could do that too. You could partner up with local organizations. You could put your own event like Vishen used to in your own. I mean, this is really, we are really talking about real base pricing here. Like $50 a session for a 1-hour meditation. It's not a 7-hour pricing.
Yeah, this is one-on-one, right? But you can do it as a group. So why we add 6-phase is, one of the beautiful things about 6-phase is it's not one-on-one. You can do it 1 to 100. You can do it. I've done 6-phase where I've trained 1,000 people in one go. You can do it 1 to 100, 1 to 50. You can do it in a gym class. You can approach a local gym and say, hey, I'm going to teach this meditation class, 6-phase. And it's going to be $25 per people, and I can have 100 people in, right? So there are many different ways you can monetize it, but it allows one to many, so it's scalable in many ways. And so you get 80 people paying $50 for a 1-hour 6-phase class. What happens is you now have paid for your coaching certification. So let's summarize. There's a ton of value that you're getting, right? If you add the value of everything up and you compare it to the competition, it's close to 40 grand. The program right now is 4,500. So 4,500, you can compare it to other life coaching certifications. It is a very attractive price. But what we're going to do is, for the first 500 people, so the first 500 people who enroll, the early birds, we give an extra $500 off. So it's $3,999. Okay, and the next step is, this is a program where you do have to put in an application. So we are not going to just accept everyone. It's a $200 to put in an application. We'll review your application as fast as we can, 1 to 2 weeks. If you get accepted, then you can pay the balance, which is $3,999. The $500 discount will apply to the first 500 people who put in an application. So it's based on application. Now, if we cannot accept you, then we'll just refund your $200. So you lose nothing. If we accept you, then you pay the balance, $3,799, and your total is basically $3,999. Okay, so it's super straightforward. If you need a payment plan, you can actually pay in 6 monthly installments of $749. So there is a payment plan, okay? So someone asked, how do we determine who gets accepted, rejected? That is a secret sauce. I cannot reveal that because then people could game the system. But remember, we're building community. Our coaches need to be able to trust each other. They need to be, they need to know there's always something special when you're part of a curated group. And that's why we don't just open it up for everyone. Now, to get started, all you got to do is go to that QR code, okay? Search /live/early-bird, and you can sign up. And so I'll keep the screen up. Grab a picture of that. We'll also send you a link via email, but grab that QR code or open up that website and go check it out, okay? Now, the program starts on 12th of February, so you want to act fast. Now, the discount, we're giving $500 off to the first 500, but we're only taking 1,000. So if you're after the 500, the first 500, then it's 4,005. If you're one of the fast-acting early bird people, then you save 500. This helps us as well, guys. It helps us sell seats in advance. It helps us know that this program, the more seats we sell in advance, the more revenue we have to build up the program, to really invest in the program. Because you can see we're adding so much to it. We're adding a free seminar. We're shipping everyone pendants. We're giving a double certification. You actually get 2 certificates. And the reason we have an NPS score is because almost all the revenue we make, we put back in to make the program as great as possible. Great instructors, great community, because we believe that's how you build a massive, that's how you build the world's most dominant coaching training company. Okay, now, a couple of other stories. There's so many amazing stories, but check this out. Nancy Douglas,
we have the wrong picture.
Yeah,
But yeah.
that's not Nancy for sure. But after launching her coaching practice, she got a chance to even speak on the Mindvalley stage. Julie Little got 3 clients without even marketing herself. Guy Dusselier, 3 private clients as he was before she even finished the program. Carla shared this just as she signed her first client. And then there are stories of personal transformation. Dinah, clearer understanding of how to help herself with effective tools. Gwen Tang in Singapore exceeded my expectations by leaps and bounds. Johanna Brooks from Washington, United States. My confidence in my abilities have grown exponentially, and I feel so much more equipped to create transformational experiences in my clients. Sylvia from Poland. I recommend this life coaching program to anyone seeking to unlock their true potential. As you can see, our members, this collective comes from all across the world. Okay, now let's talk about the risk-free guarantee. We want to make sure that your investment is safe. So Ajit, could you explain how this works?
Yeah, for the first 2 weeks of the program, you get to try it, take it for a spin. And if it doesn't speak to you, you feel like, all right, this is not working for me, this is not what I understood of the program, you have the risk-free guarantee that Mindvalley offers for any of the programs on Mindvalley. So you have that guarantee also here. So you have you can feel safe as you make your investment towards this program.
Okay, great. And finally, that's how you get to the purchase page. So you can just go there and you can begin. And the first 500 slots start now. We already have seen applications come in. According to my team, that's WhatsApping me right now. So this is pretty exciting. So thank you guys. And remember, it's just $200. So now we have a couple of minutes left, 12 minutes left. Ajit, let's do 12 minutes of Q&A before we wrap up.
Yeah, sure. Let's do it. So here's a good way to do Q&A. Vote up the questions, everybody that is in the thing. That helps us filter the questions that are most pressing for most people.
Yeah.
Instead, because we have over 63 questions, there's no way we are getting through them in 15 minutes or even 5 hours. Yes. So let's pick the ones that are voted.
Open the Q&A tab, guys, and put a little like button on the questions you like.
Okay, should I just go ahead and take the first
yes,
question?
Go ahead. The first one is from Rasha Shaheen, and it is, what is the difference between the Mindvalley Certified Coach and Mindvalley Certified Business Coach?
So the big difference is in Mindvalley Certified Life Coach, we master the skills of life. In Mindvalley Certified, and the model you're learning is how to become a coach and an instructor, 6-phase meditation instructor. A very different program. It focuses a lot and goes a lot more deeper into all life situations, right? When we take the Container Certified Business Coach, the container is very different. In the business setting, you don't need the same depth of life coaching skills that you need when you are dealing with anything life, because it's a contained environment, right? People don't get hyper emotional in a business setting on a daily basis. People don't have deep traumas being revealed or being discussed in a business setting. So in Certified Business Coach, we do talk about fundamentals of coaching, but what we train you as is what we call a coach consultant, because it drives more results for businesses when you're not only able to understand and coach the situation, but you're actually able to consult the problem. So they're completely different programs. They're very complementary, which means if you do both of them, phenomenal. You'll be successful as a business coach and a life coach. I am trained on both of them. Of course, I train on both of them, but they're different skill sets and they're isolated because life coach goes really, really deep in coaching abilities, and CBC or Certified Business Coach does only use a little bit of coaching and a lot of consulting at the side of it. So they're different programs completely. There's no correlation.
And
but
so
they're complementary.
And a couple of people asked, if I became a Mindvalley Certified Life Coach before 2024, can I still get a pendant? The answer is yes. So if you notice, the price for Mindvalley Certified Life Coach, because the program is growing every year the price goes up, right? And the price will continue going up because we're not going to train an infinite number of coaches. So every year the price goes up by about $500 to $1,000. So if you purchase this in 2023, 2022, it was an even lower price. The pendant, therefore, you have to buy it separately. It's not expensive, but we have to check your name, make sure you have a certificate, and then you get the pendant, because that pendant is a really special thing. It's not out there for everyone. You have to have the certificate to get the pendant. So you gotta, we have to check your name in a customer database, see that you passed your exams, you earned your certificate, then you buy the pendant, right? If you are signing up right now, the pendant is included. But remember, the people who bought last year, you actually got a slightly lower price. That's why the pendant is not included. So I hope that clears things up, that explains it. But we would love to see all our coaches with the pendant. So you're going to get an email if you signed up before, and if you're 2023 and before coach, you'll get an email giving you a link where you can order the pendant and get it shipped to you.
Next
Marco
question is,
said,
what if
fall behind in the 16 weeks? Can you catch up at your own pace?
Yes, you can. We'll give you a stipulated time. Top of my mind, I don't remember, but I think you have an additional 4 weeks or something to catch up to it and do your tests in time within that frame. But that would be shared with you when you are in the program on how much stipulation that you have. But I think it's 4 weeks. I might be wrong. It's just a technicality, but we do give you some more time to fall behind. If I've completed my ICF coaching certification, would there be reason to need this course? It depends on how much more deeper you want to go. ICF coaching certifications are great at a fundamental level. This is a much more immersive experience. You've seen the format, you've seen the experience of being coached or going through this somewhat of a self-coaching experience over the past 4 hours. It is nothing close to what ICF does. It's a lot more immersive and includes a lot more dimensions that I think any other certification provides. It depends on how much immersion you want in your life and how much better you want to get as a coach.
Got it. And then I want to answer this one. So Jody Campillo said, I got an email from Mindvalley saying that you're lowering prices for annual membership to $299 and my price would be adjusted. But then I immediately a week later, got my old invoice for $399, right? Which was the 2023 price. What happened? This reduces my faith in Mindvalley. Jody, I apologize for that. Write directly to me. I'll get it handled. Vishen@mindvalley.com. Probably what happened was just a timing issue. It just happened that you were one of the customers who were in that zone when we are changing prices, but we'll get it fixed. It's actually going to be retroactive. Like it's going to happen for everyone. So either way, it's going to happen, but shoot me an email so that I'll personally take care of it. Vishen@mindvalley.com. My first name @Mindvalley. Now let's go on to the next one, which is how do I get my pendants? If I'm a coach from the previous year, you'll get an email and we'll guide you. We'll let you know how you can purchase it. The pendants are only going to be available. They're in manufacturing right now. We still need 3 months to get them manufactured and ready for shipping. Next one, Ajit. What if I'm already enrolled in programs like Lifebook Mastery and doing other quests? How can I manage to do it all? Well, Nai, that's a very good question. So remember what I shared. The average person is spending 3 hours a day on social media or TV, right? And again, no judgment there, nothing wrong with that. If you're spending 3 hours on Mindvalley Certified Life Coach, that's 1 day a week, really, of your free time. If you are doing Lifebook, if you're doing other Mindvalley programs, you're spending 2 days a week. It is still significantly less. It just means that I would never ask you to take that time away from family or work or special projects. But I would absolutely encourage you to take that time away from social media and TV, because that is just pure entertainment. It doesn't do anything for you. Entertainment is great, but you're not building long-term abilities. So you want to ask yourself, really, do I have extra casual time that I'm not spending in the most effective way that I could dedicate to doing 2 or 3 different Mindvalley programs at the same time? I mean, I do that. I spend 7-8 hours a week in personal growth. And if I can make the time, I'm sure anyone can. So Anna Pina said, what is the difference between Mindvalley Life Coach and Spiritual Coach? We do not have a Spiritual Coach program, Anna. So I'm not sure what that question refers to. Okay, Julianne Ajit said, English is not my mother tongue. I think my level is enough to follow the course, but I'm asking if you think this might cause me a problem.
I have a 2-part answer. First of all, Julianne, we are on the same boat. English is not my mother tongue too. I don't know if you noticed it or not, but I come from India. I actually speak Hindi as my mother tongue. But I've been able to do this work without any problem. Secondly, it could be that you're like, hey, I have a heavy accent. I'm still learning. The program learning will not be a challenge. How you coach, do you coach in a different language? That's completely up to you. So it will not be a restriction in your ability to learn from the program. It will not be a restriction in your ability to coach that coach based on the learnings of the program, unless you choose to say, I want to learn in this program and then I want to coach in English. And that's a language skill that you'll have to work on. I can't comment on that. But in context of you being able to learn, I'm a non-native speaker, and I think people understand me very well. We have transcripts for all of the programs, so you can always read it. It's doable, very, very doable.
Okay. Lavina said, when is the next intake? I cannot join the current February 2024 intake. Ajit?
There will be a next intake. I don't know the exact date of it, but here's something to note. There are bonuses that are available only for this intake. And also the price discount that Vishen just mentioned is available for this intake only. So you want to weigh that against, see if payment plan would work for you. So next intake would probably be March or April. But for now, what I can say is at least consider that you're getting a price discount and an access that only is available for this launch. So consider that before thinking about the next intake.
Great. And someone said, Camille asked, is this applicable for someone with zero experience?
Absolutely, it's applicable for anybody with zero experience. It depends on what you're going to do with it, right? It's like saying, is meditation applicable for anybody with zero experience, or is living a better life applicable for anybody that is wanting to live an? Yeah, of course it's applicable. You'll learn, you'll grow, you'll become better.
Yeah. Now, Anapina said, can I coach someone online? Is this only for person-to-person coaching, face-to-face?
Everything that you learn in this program is applicable for online or offline coaching. So it's completely up to you how you want to utilize the skills and bring them out to the world. You can use it for any platform.
Okay. Diana said, are we trained to work for Mindvalley, or will we be working by ourselves at the end of the 4 months? You are working for yourself, but with a Mindvalley brand attached to your certification, because you've been trained by Mindvalley. So we're not in the business of, say, pairing up a client with a coach. We do have a coaching directory, but ultimately how most of our coaches get clients is local marketing. Coaching is a very localized thing. So for example, I have lots of friends here in the city of Tallinn, Estonia, who are coaches. Many of them are servicing 22, 25 clients a week. And the population of my city is only 400,000, right? It's very, very, very localized. It spreads through word of mouth. The coaches meet their clients in a cafe. It's very intimate, very localized. So we give you the brand, we give you the tools, we teach you marketing. And Mindvalley is such a known brand right now. No matter where in the world you are, people know Mindvalley. And even if they don't, you can ask them to Google Mindvalley. Such a beautiful website, such a great app, and you're associated with, you have that logo, you have that certificate. And so that's how we help. It is the brand affiliation that helps. But we don't know your local area, so we cannot directly connect you with someone in your local area. We might do that in a bigger way in the future, but we don't do that now. But we'll give you all the tools, all the knowledge, the brand attachment to help you get those clients that you need. Now, Joanne said, is this certification for someone who just wants to grow and coach themselves? I have no intention of getting clients.
Absolutely. This is like I was sharing, there were some personal transformation stories that we shared of people getting out of depression, people finding confidence. Like I was telling while I was training you on the seminar, I talked about this lady that was carrying a baggage for like 50 years of her life. She was 70 when she was experiencing the transformation within the program and post-program as well. And she was able to let go of a baggage she was carrying for 50 years. And so is it transformational for you? That's how we design it. The first client you will have as a coach is yourself. If you can't coach yourself, you don't learn that skill for yourself, it won't be possible for you to coach anybody else. And you would hear that as a repeating message and practice that consistently through the program.
So 50% of the people who sign up for a Mindvalley certified coach, they actually do it for themselves. They don't want to be a coach. They want to go through the transformation. People who take our fitness coaching, they do it because it transforms their body. At the end of 4 months, they are in a different body. They don't want to be a fitness trainer. They want to transform their body. This one is saying, you want to transform yourself. You want to master your own body, mind, and soul. And a large chunk of the people who do this do it for that reason. I got trained in Mindvalley certifications, and I did it because I wanted to be able to bring it to my family. I don't take clients, but I wanted to bring it to my family. And occasionally I help my friends, but I don't charge for it because my intentions were different. I just wanted to master myself. So if that's your case, congratulations. That is half the people who are going through this. Okay. So with that, we wrap up. You have the link on your screen. Ajit and I had such a wonderful time spending this Sunday with you. So thank you all.
Thank you very much for joining us. I had a phenomenal time. Thank you so much for the wonderful stories, for all the tags on social media. And I'm so excited to have a few of you who are going to join us in this experience. I'm looking forward to working with you for the next 4 months. Thank you again. Thank you, Vishen.
And if you post anything on this on social media, please tag us. It's at Real Coach Ajit on Instagram and at Vishen at Mindvalley. Sorry, just at Vishen on Instagram. Thank you guys. Take care.